studio. The Patriots.
Yes. Into the end zone.
Here.
Touchdown for the Patriots.
WBC FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Celtics are back in action tonight as they host the Bulls at the Garden. Kristaps Porzingis questionable after leaving Sunday's win with right heel pain. Sam Hauser also questionable tonight with the sore back. Xavier Tillman questionable as well. He is dealing with an illness. That'll be a 7 o'clock pregame with Grandy and Max on 105.7 WROR. That's because the Bruins are also in action tonight as they wrap up their swing through Western Canada with a 9 o'clock puck drop here on the Sports. Vancouver, RJ and Bob will have the call. Patriots will practice again today as they get ready for the Bills on Sunday. 3 players missing yesterday: Kyle Duggar, JaMychal Hasty, and Marcus Jones. Pats also signed wide receiver Alex Erickson to the practice squad. Big Thursday night football game tonight. The Broncos take on the Chargers, and Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado has rejected a trade to Houston, according to Mark Feinsand. Red Sox considered to be one of his potential landing spots. Headlines are brought to you by Newberry Comics. Looking for wicked good gifts this holiday season? Newberry Comics is your ultimate destination for all things pop culture. Newberry Comics, wicked good gifts for the holidays. I'm Matt McCarthy in Boston's Home for Sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update, 30 minutes.
Boston plays here.
Pritchard, half court. It's in the air. He got it. He did it again.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. 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 Mm-hmm. Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Oopity about with a football.
98.5. The
Bruins are back from the West Coast. Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na 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 na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
Yes, I have a degree in communication. Just stick with me. I am by no means a professional. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. We're in the Town Fair Tire Studios. You can give us a call, 617-779-0985. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, and you can watch us on YouTube 24 hours a day, but you can watch us live here. If you go to YouTube and hit 98.5 The Sports Hub, and then you subscribe, and then the algorithm gets kicked in, and the whole world is a better place. And then videos from years and years and years ago pop up on your algorithm, and it's a lot of fun. Adam was saying that we all recorded. I heard Hardy's thing on Joe Murray's show yesterday, but we all recorded things for Joe Murray.
How bad was mine?
It wasn't bad at all. You talked about the Lions a lot. I didn't think it was bad.
All right.
Yeah, you talked about the Lions. You went like in a sports direction with it.
I heard yours, Fred. It was probably right around, a little before 9 o'clock, probably like 8:50, 8:55.
Well, they should have played mine at 6 when they had the most listeners. What the hell's wrong with him?
Right?
He's got to learn about this business.
Might have played it twice. I don't know. Maybe he repeated it.
I don't think he played it twice because I heard 2. I heard Hardy and I heard Leroy, or who I heard. I might have heard Felger.
Yeah, he's got one. I heard. I'm looking at them all in the system now. I heard yours, and then I heard Louth's.
I was in the car, because I have this. I coached basketball last night. After I had to go to the Harrington School in Lexington to pick up my son.
Yeah,
which is a lot of fun at 8 o'clock at night. I enjoy it.
Delightful, all the driving.
Yeah, there's no traffic, but nonetheless.
You had to go all the way to Lexington.
I had to go from Newton down to 95 north to Route 2, and then through further into Lexington, right by I guess it's right next to Winchester. I mean, it's not close. It's not close.
It's pretty close. It's not far from Newton. No traffic at 8 o'clock at night?
Yeah, it's at 8 o'clock at night. What, you want to go run an errand every night at 8 o'clock at night?
I wouldn't mind it.
You wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't.
You want to do it?
Sure, why not?
You want to go drive them around?
Sure.
Where do you live? You live in Watertown, right?
Mansfield.
Oh, you work in Watertown.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, if you want to go and have the thankless job of picking up your son and then driving him back home, God bless you. If that doesn't annoy you, then you're the best.
I mean, Fred, you did say yesterday that you would be willing to have another child and start the whole process over again. So I'm surprised to hear you complaining about having to go all the way to Lexington for your child at 8 o'clock at night.
I would pretty much be complaining about going anywhere, but yeah, that's at 8 o'clock at night. But yes, that is not ideal.
So
but then I had to coach Zoe's basketball team, and that goes until 9. And then I dropped them at their mother's house, and I got to go in there, and then so I didn't get home until like 9:45, and then I'm not going to bed at 9:45 after all that, so I didn't get to sleep until like midnight last night.
are you the coach, or are you like?
I'm the coach.
Wow. What? How's the team looking? What are you guys working on?
Well, it's Newton Rec basketball, so it's a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
But and it's the finest athletes from all over.
Yeah,
Newton.
this is the bunch of slappies running around out there. This is
and
cream of the crop.
And they want me to coach with great intensity. I mean, I really put them through their paces.
Well, that's what these kids are desire. This is why they gravitate toward a program like this,
right?
With the specific type of hard, firm but fair coaching that you're known for.
I did make them run yesterday. My daughter just won't run. Like, she doesn't run. And so I just like I really like am so like she wants me to coach, and that's why she plays basically, is because I'm coaching.
Sneaky impediment to playing basketball.
She'll run
unwillingness to run.
I know. She doesn't like running, but she'll run. She'll run in basketball, but like that's the only activity really where she runs.
Yeah.
So, and it's only twice a week, 4 months a year. So I kind of this year am using. I don't get mad at them or anything. I don't. There's no way I would get mad about anything. Like it's not that kind of situation, and it's not like I'm stopping myself from getting mad. I like all the girls. I got a guy helping me, and
yeah. If you like the kids and they're good kids, that makes it.
Yeah, like they give me crap,
fun.
But they give me crap. But like I know it's from like because they feel comfortable doing it. Like I don't mind.
Yeah.
But I do now because Zoe won't run. Like outside of basketball, I will look for excuses to make them run a little bit more. Now I don't have them do like I don't know what else you're supposed to call them. I don't have them doing suicides or anything. But I'll just have them run at a moderate speed, because I have the full court for some reason this year. I guess because it's at 8, and I'll have them run the full court like back and forth a few times, and it is. I take great pleasure in just watching Zoe run, and then she'll like want to stop, and I'll be like, "You can't stop. You gotta learn how to push yourself through these things."
Yeah. Even as long you got to keep moving. Even if it's not fast, you have to. You can't stop.
And it's a delicate balance. I figured out, like, this is going to sound weird, but it's true. Like, Zoe cares so much about what I say, like, what I think of her, that I am very, very, very careful not to. I don't want to. I value that, but I don't want something trivial to make her think that like I'm upset with her or don't think she's of value. but I think she's getting to an age where she needs to be pushed a little bit to like fight through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you probably did this with your kids. Like,
I know exactly what you mean, and it's almost unsettling when you find out that they care. My son and daughter both care a lot about what I think, and that catches me off guard. I'm like, why do you care what I think? Nobody else in my life cares what I think.
I know. Well, with Milo, I have it down because I will go. I just give advice, and I'm like, look, you can do what you want to. Like, you can do what you want to do. Here's what I think that I would do. And most of the time he takes it, and sometimes he doesn't. I found that to be the best way to deal with him, and it's actually paid off. Like, he's went from having no self-motivation to like a lot of it, and so I'm sticking with that.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I'll give you an example that doesn't give you any personal information about him, but like when he went to this new school, he's like, I don't want to play basketball. I'm gonna do this like workout thing, and I went, okay, yeah, you can. I'm not gonna make you play basketball. I don't care if you play basketball or not, but it's like I think, A, I know you like it, and B, like it's a good way to make friends. You're transferring in at the end of the year. I know when I went to North Farmington, when I got kicked out of Country Day, when I went to North Farmington, the fact that I had played sports with a lot of those kids, like I was so nervous when I first went in there, but then they all knew me from sports, so I felt a lot more comfortable when I first got in there. And he went, yeah, I'm not going to play. And I'm like, all right, don't play. And then he texted me later that day, I'm going to play. So, like, you know, like he'll take my advice. With Zoe, it's weird. I got to get her to start. I don't know what I'm talking about all this, but I got to get her, maybe because people have kids, I got to start like pushing her a little bit, and I don't, and it's like I'm figuring out how. I'm figuring out how to do it. It's because I don't want, and girls, as you know, are different. Like they're much more, I feel there's like a lot of like rules that you don't want to upset them too much.
I've stepped in several bear traps over the years. I mean, and things that you're never going out of your way. We're not monsters to hurt feelings, but I had no idea that would hurt your feelings. I'm sorry.
And I will give this. Her mother, I guess, did not enjoy middle school, so she's pretty good. But like last night, and then like she'll call me, and like last night she called about something really upset. It's not had nothing to do with any of the family. Something, and like I was able to coach her through that, and so maybe I'm getting somewhere. Who knows? But it was a thing where I'm like, I don't want you to do anything violent. I have to say that.
Expert parenting advice right there.
Well, I want you to stick up for yourself. I'm not saying I want you to do this and this.
Oh, yeah.
But I want you to stick up for yourself.
A lot can be solved with, an unexpected gift at an unexpected time. And this one wasn't even like a surprise because I had to run out a couple of days ago, and my daughter had like 2 or 3 like bad days in a row. Just bad, nothing horrible. Overall scheme of things, it's fine, but she's just having a rotten time of it for a few days. And I was running out again. A wonderful thing having to do with this job, Fred. I needed gas, so I had to go out the night before and get it. There are literally no gas stations open between me and work unless I go out of the way. Mm-hmm. The ones that I would go to, they're not open. That's how early it is that we're driving in. So I'm like, I'm gonna go out and get gas. And it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Do you want anything from Dunkin'? You would have thought I offered her the Hope Diamond. Wait a second, you're offering to get stuff this close to dinner, all this other stuff. Yes, just give me the order. And that was, I think a little thing like that and hopefully improved her day 25%. Like, okay, glad I asked. Didn't even think of it. Didn't want to do it, but you got to tap into those little things that We'll brighten them up.
Yeah, she was being the other day. She was sick in the car and like she didn't feel well, and she was being kind of bitchy. And I'm like, look, I gotta stop by CVS to pick up a prescription, and they had those, I don't know what they're called, the little stuffed things. So despite her bitchiness and everything, I bought her one of those. I mean, it's like $5, $8, and I brought it in the car. And she's like, and I took it out of the bag, and I'm like, look, does this make you feel any better? And then all of a sudden,
yeah,
not so sick,
right?
Not so sick. It's more with women until they get older. It's more that you got them something unexpectedly than what you get them. Like with girls, I think with same things with women. Like I don't know if this is how it is with your wife. But it's almost like if it didn't make you uncomfortable to buy it, like if it didn't,
right?
Like if you got it from Amazon, it doesn't count.
No. You have to go into a store and shop and think about things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like you have to, because it's not only going to cost a certain amount of money, but you have to have gone into like a box store or somewhere you didn't want to be. Like if you get well, I shouldn't say that. If you get flowers. Like if they're from a local florist, that is of much higher value than just going to some website.
Of course. Now, when it comes to your son, though, I'm sure you have this very same experience. All that time in the car, driving back and forth, doing all that stuff, you don't like the driving, but you would miss the wonderful long. In-depth conversations that you have with him. My son has taken to putting the earbuds in. I'm like, I'm listening to good music here, or we could talk. There's nothing. Well, there's not a word is spoken.
Zoe rides with me to get Milo every time, and Zoe talks a lot, like a lot, and I like it. Like I know everything that's going on with Zoe. Milo then. If he's tired, he's a total dick. If he's not super tired or something cool happened, like I guess some kid on the basketball team like posted some kid last night, so he was like super excited about it because he had never seen it like that in person.
Yeah,
like from one of his peers. And then he dunked in a game, and so like he was like going nuts. And then so if he's in a good mood, he'll talk. But yeah, they both look at. If I tell them to look at, I know exactly what you're saying. If I don't play music a lot in the car, but if I play music in the car and I'm like, this sounds. There's a song by Olivia Rodrigo called "Ballad of a Homeschool Girl" or something like that, and if you heard it, it sounds like every pop punk song. It's good. It's a good song.
Yeah.
But it's a good, tight, like little pop punk song, right? Like and it turns out, I guess it was. Did Adam? Are you the one who told me that there was like guys that produce like Alkaline Trio or something that do it, that work with her? But whatever. And she's smart, and so like Olivia Rodrigo. So and I'll go, oh, this sounds exactly like this, and then she'll listen to what I'm playing for a second. And then she'll start on her phone. If I go watch, hey, this is funny, watch this clip. Let's say the clip's 25 seconds long.
No.
It might as well. That's a feat of endurance. I mean, there's no way she'll watch it. There's no way either of them will watch it. And then it's so I've stopped. I've stopped.
Right.
I've stopped. But I said, if you like Olivia Rodrigo, this sounds exactly like stuff that I like. Here's a bunch of stuff that sounds like this.
Well,
like, why don't you like? You can. I'm giving you all this stuff that you'll like.
Your approach is so much more acceptable than mine, which was why my kids won't play music for me anymore. They play me a song, and I said, "Oh, you know where they got that from?" And then I would play this song, the original, and say like. Yeah, yours just a total ripoff.
Right.
There's that ain't new.
And they
you
say,
think
hey,
you think you're telling me something? No, that's the Pointer Sisters or that's whoever.
And they say, "Hey, Dad, the original sucks."
Oh,
and it's almost like they think as a collective because, rap now it just sounds totally different than rap even 15, 20 years ago, and they don't like any of it, but all of them and all of their friends like MF Doom. And MF Doom it doesn't sound like anyone now, so it's very interesting to me. Like, I don't understand it. It's almost like MF Doom got the green light by TikTok or something. So, yes, they'll listen to MF Doom and they'll listen to the Descendants, but I don't want to listen to the Descendants anymore. I've heard the Descendants for, for 40 years. I've heard the Descendants. I don't want to hear them anymore. I don't want to listen to the Descendants. So they'll listen to MF Doom, and that's it.
They like De La Soul too, though. You said.
Oh yeah, they like De La Soul. But I mean, I've heard De La Soul for the last 35 years. I mean, and they started streaming the albums again, and so like I started because I don't have a CD player in my car, so they started streaming the albums again. Yeah, you do. You're lucky. I'm surprised you don't have an 8-track. But that would have mean it was a vintage car, and that would.
No, it's out of my price range.
You didn't buy it out of the Enterprise lot. All right, that's too much. It's probably very boring for anyone, but I don't particularly care because we are close to. Well, I actually do. I'm just playing cool. We are very close to me leaving for the year, and I have an appointment in Waltham at 11. So I'm not going anywhere after the show. So if you let me leave like 3 minutes early like Wallach, I would just end up staying like a loser anyway because I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to go!
Standing outside the studio looking at us through the window.
Yeah, I'd be like, why can't I talk? I don't want to talk.
Who played that Richard Gere drop? I didn't play it. Did you just play that 12? That
No.
I got nowhere else to go?
No. What I did is manipulated my voice.
Wait a sec. Hold on. Let me close my eyes. Do it again.
I got nowhere else to go.
Officer and a gentleman. I thought you were playing it again.
Yeah, what I've done, here's the process. Okay. I'll watch Officer and Gentleman. I'll go, this is iconic scene.
Yeah.
I'll put it on tape. Not videotape, audio tape. I take it to the restroom with me. I stand in front of the mirror.
Oh, okay.
And I first I'll go, this sounds like, you know what it is? It's John Wayne and Harvey Keitel. I put them together, and then you got that. It's a dance.
We could do the whole scene. I want your DOR, Mayo.
Mayo more like mustard.
No.
I don't know the rest of the scene. I just...
All right. On your feet, Mayo.
I'm not positive I've ever even seen that movie. I just know that scene.
So good.
That's why when people say they don't know The Godfather, I'm like, that's a lie.
Deborah Winger. There's one.
Deborah Winger is, when I got older, I realized she was attractive. I didn't know that. Same with Holly Hunter. I never realized that. Yeah, that's got to be broadcast
right
news.
in Hardy's wheelhouse right now.
Yeah. Hardy would masturbate to that if it wasn't disrespectful to her.
I wouldn't want to get him back to her.
Exactly. Or make her sexualize her in any way. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
Oh, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
I've never heard that, Tony. All right, we are Toucher and Hardy. I understand, Hardy, not a great deal happened last night. But
very little.
I'll let you lead the way.
College basketball?
Yeah, baby.
Oh, boy.
Sure, why not?
Get fired up.
I like college basketball. I think I'm the only person at the station that really likes college basketball.
Yeah, I think you're the only person who likes it legitimately, as in you watch it for the entire season.
Right. Like, I've watched a fairly large amount of college basketball this season, yes.
But Oklahoma, 14th ranked Oklahoma, hosting 24th ranked Michigan.
Whatever you say.
University of Michigan. Oh, no, but
Sure.
it was an exciting finish to the game, McCarthy. Come on.
Spears will lift this one. Got it! He hit it! He hit it! And fouled on the play. Jeremiah Spears fouled while hitting the triple.
You have got to be kidding me. What did we just see?
Unbeaten.
It's a foul in a basketball game.
I don't know. Why don't you tell me, lady? So what? So I didn't see the game. So OU was down.
Yes.
Was down 3. The kid hits the 3 and he's fouled on it with no time left. Hits the free throw and they win the game. Wow.
Yes.
Got to be kidding me. What did we just see?
Unbelievable. Drains it and fouled, and he goes to the line, tied at 86 with 11 and a half seconds to go. And it goes down.
Okay.
Dave O'Brien action.
Just like me.
And then those loser Wolverines clanged one off the back iron. I guess they have one more shot, but there you go. That was an exciting finish there for the
Yeah.
Oklahoma basketballers.
All right, do the Doug Gottlieb thing. This is funny.
Okay.
Do you know the story?
So Doug Gottlieb, how does he
Okay.
do both?
So
First
Doug
of all,
Gottlieb-
let's start with that.
Doug Gottlieb, as you'll hear, apparently is the longest running afternoon sports host in America, which okay, great. I mean, he's not particularly talented, but he played at Notre Dame. He got kicked off the team for stealing from lockers. And then I think he went to like Oklahoma and played or something like that. I can't remember where but he was a college basketball player. He was good at college basketball. And he took a job at, where's his job, Ryan? Where did he play? Where does he coach?
It's University of Wisconsin Green Bay.
UWGB, baby.
Yeah.
That's where he coaches. And he played Michigan Tech. Okay, so he took this job. It was very controversial because he wasn't going to leave his radio job. So he was going to coach University of Wisconsin Green Bay, but he wasn't going to leave his radio job. So Michigan Tech is a hockey powerhouse, actually.
Yeah.
But they are an Upper Peninsula school in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. You know, obviously, I've told you several times I've grown up in Michigan. I frequent the state still. I've never, ever, 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 ever been in the Upper Peninsula. The Upper Peninsula.
You never went to the. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure. And the Upper Peninsula has its own accent, its own language. I've never met anyone from the Upper Peninsula. I didn't go to Michigan State or anything. I'm sure there were kids from Upper Peninsula at Michigan State. Have you met anyone from the Upper Peninsula?
Yeah. I know people. There was a couple of kids I went to school with who ended up moving up there.
Holy moly. All I know is that Michigan Tech's up there and, like, girls will disappear. Like, they'll be running through the woods and they'll disappear because, like, you know, Upper Peninsula people are out there. They're like animals and they, like, grab them.
Hill people? What's going on?
Absolutely. Did you see the picture that Ryan Johnson put out of him landing in Edmonton yesterday?
Yes, I retweeted it.
And it's like hilarious. A barren, flat, snowy wasteland. The Upper Peninsula gets so much snow because it's surrounded. It's a peninsula, obviously, so it's surrounded by all these lakes. It gets so much lake effect snow that they'll get 9-foot banks on their houses. So there'll be fun videos of people like skiing off their roofs, like just down a slope of snow. Like there's no gap between the roof. People get trapped in their houses. Like if they don't dig out on a consistent basis, not their cars, the front door. They'll get stuck in the house.
Yeah, a good friend of mine from high school went to college up there. And I remember, back before you could send photos, but him showing me a photo when he was back home, the following summer of like the bulldozed pathways that they had to make in between buildings. And it's not guys out there with like, a snowblower or a plow.
It's not Maz and his errands type of thing.
No, this was
That would be
heavy duty earth moving stuff that it's just this maze going around the campus that you have to walk through.
Right. And I know people that have spent winters in Traverse City, which is in the mitten, like below the Upper Peninsula. And that will get so cold that if you don't have a heater, that you don't need it anymore. But if you didn't have a heater on your key, because the cold would shrink the keyhole in the side of your car, so your key legit wouldn't fit in your car. Like when you had to manually like unlock cars, so they had to jerry-rig these heaters on keychains so you could heat the metal
was it that,
so it
or
would
for
expand back.
Oh my God. Okay, so
and I had a friend who went to Alma that's not Upper Peninsula, that had it too. Like they would have, there were people you couldn't get in your car.
Well, around here, I still have like some of the de-icer stuff. Not that you have to put your key in the door anymore.
Kind of miss that.
But when 20 years ago, when I first got to Boston, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to pick up some of this stuff. I haven't had to use it since I lived in Michigan, but I'll get some de-icer for the door lock.
Sure, yeah. It's not that. It's because that's just it rained and it's cold. That can happen, or there was hail and it was cold. Oh. No. This is dry
molecular change happening.
Yeah. Metal shrinks, and the key's a very precise, obviously
right.
A very precise fit. So even if it shrinks like a microscopic amount, like or whatever the correct term is, the key won't fit. So my friend Jerry would be like, "This place sucks." I'd be like, "Why?" He'd be like, "I can't." They canceled class because cold. And it's only like 2 hours from where we grew up. He's like, what the? It's right in the middle of Michigan. This is Alma. Oh. So imagine Michigan Tech. So anyway, Gottlieb is he seems like kind of a dick, and he coaches at University of Wisconsin Green Bay
and does a daily radio show. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, well, or does he? But
okay. So this is what he had to say about their opponent before the game.
Part of the reason I want to play better teams is like it's 2 degrees outside, snowing. Like I don't really like the idea of you coming in here and like I always thought like what do we learn playing a game where we win by 20? But there's a methodology to it.
Yeah, so he says that before the game.
Yes,
in reference to the team he's playing. And when you are the coach of University of Wisconsin Green Bay, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, that is the kind of hubris that you can walk around with, because Lord knows, so you can probably guess what happened next.
They ended up losing to Michigan Tech.
Yeah, they lost the game that he predicted they would win by 20. The coach of the team.
Yes.
The head coach of the team, before they played the team they were playing, even if it was Duke versus, Michigan Tech, it's amateur, quote unquote amateur athletics, and at that level it sort of is. What a dick. And like, even if you won by 40, like what an a-hole. And second of all, all you're doing is waking up a Michigan Tech team that probably are all walk-ons. I mean, they're all playing just for fun, and now you pissed them all off. And they know they're playing you, and now they're going to try way harder than your team.
So this is all part of a terrible, awful, very bad day for Doug Gottlieb. So before the game, I just want to get the timeline right. He gets into a beef with Adam Schefter too. Did you hear about that?
No, I did not.
No, I did not hear about
weird.
This.
All right. Adam Schefter tweeted out, Sacramento State is in discussions to hire former Pro Bowl quarterback Mike Vick as its new head coach, per sources. Sacramento State plans to move up the FBS. Bill New Stadium has over $50 million in NIL. Doug Gottlieb quote tweets this. Quote tweets Adam Schefter and says, Jesus, Shefty, edit what agents tell you. 0.0% chance Sac State has $50 million in NIL.
Which was a beautiful gay porn.
Huh?
NIL? What?
No, Sac State.
Oh, okay.
I got it.
Okay, thank you. Schefter replied briefly. He said they're leading schools in NIL efforts, blah, 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 blah. All right. Then they played the game. Schefter, after the game, tweeted out, Jesus, Doug, a 7-game losing streak and last place in the Horizon League, less time on social media and more time in the gym.
Wow.
Woof. All right, so that's all.
That's a rare. Wow. He went all in. I'm not joking.
Yeah,
either.
that's
like,
all right. A little back and forth. So, all right, bad day for Doug Gottlieb. He's got to show up and do his radio show. Well, does he? This was the intro to the Doug Gottlieb show.
This is America's longest-running afternoon drive sports radio show.
Bang, bang, won't stop till we legend.
And sitting in for Doug, here's Dan Beyer and former NFL All-Pro safety, Kerry Rhodes.
No Doug today. Did you really think that Doug was going to coach a game and do a show in a span of 3 hours?
No, keep going. Is there more?
There is more.
Doug's feeling the agony of defeat right now, but we're going to bring you the thrill of victory. And the thrill of victory that is the NBA Cup.
No, that's it.
No, the fact that he said that he's feeling the agony of defeat. You know, they're not. I just like that they're even talking about.
Yes.
Hey, jackass. You're a loser. Yes, they lost by 2 in that game. Oh boy.
I think we should bring Doug Gottlieb back on the show.
Now, here's the CBS Sports Minute on 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Remember those?
Wow. How could one forget, 12? How could one forget?
It's funny, Matt was talking about it when we were discussing the story off air. Yeah, Doug Gottlieb's 2-11. And it's
He's like Wallach with 2 stats, 1 lie.
It's called Green Bay Phoenix. So they have lost to Oklahoma State, St. Thomas, Minnesota. They've lost to your Providence University. They lost to University of Evansville. They've lost to Ohio. They've lost to IU Indy. They've lost to Cleveland State. They've lost to Milwaukee. They've lost to Santa Barbara and Michigan Tech. So you can see why he's so cocky going into this game. Because I can only imagine Santa Barbara is a real powerhouse. In that, I only know that because Frank Sinatra built a helicopter pad for Kennedy to land on, and he never came. All right, we will be back. Here are the headlines.
You blame Bobby for
Sports Hub headlines.
The gang stuff.
Celtics back in action tonight as they host the Bulls. Kristaps Porzingis among the Celtics listed as questionable tonight after leaving Sunday's win with right heel pain. Sam Hauser also dealing with some back soreness. Brandy and Max have the call for us. Pre-game starting at 7 o'clock tonight on WROR. That's because the Bruins are in Vancouver tonight as they wrap up their Western Canada swing. 9 o'clock puck drop here on the Sports Hub. Patriots will be back on the practice field again today as they get ready for the Bills on Sunday. Kyle Duggar did not practice yesterday, dealing with an ankle injury. Marcus Jones has a hip problem. He was also missing from yesterday's session. Thursday night football tonight, Broncos take on the Chargers. Headlines are brought to you by the Shaw's and Star Market Foundation. They've teamed up with Trent Frederick for Feeding the Puck for families to help fight food insecurity. Learn how they're assisting the Greater Boston Food Bank at 985thesportshub.com/feedthepuck. I'm Matt McCarthy. I'm Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update, 30 minutes.
More.
Apparently, Adam is obsessed with this song, he told me.
Yeah, that when I was researching ska holiday songs for Skanksmas, this was the one that I kept coming back to. I really like it. It's a groove.
It's a good recording.
It's very old, Hardy. Older than you, even.
It's older than 50-something years old.
I think this one's from the late 60s.
You should have stayed there.
Wow. Well, don't worry, Hardy. You'll get your music tomorrow.
Tyler emailed you and I already. He said, 9-foot banks of snow, talking about Michigan, Kentucky. He said, that's nothing on the 2-foot wall of ice at the base of your driveway. Those Upper Peninsula peons have nothing on you. And I said, it's true.
It was a 5-foot wall of ice, Tyler. Don't knock it down 3 feet.
All right, what's going on?
Patriots getting ready to play the Buffalo Bills. Drake May. How about that whole game atmosphere there in Buffalo?
Heard about the atmosphere and what a cool place to play. I'm sure it'll be a challenge for us, getting the snap count going and, with the crowd level and kind of getting our communication. And we always talk about operation with AVP, getting that, studying that up and working on it all week. So that's an emphasis for us this week.
Oh, he mentioned AVP, Alex Van Pelt. Been a lot of talk about Alex Van Pelt. The owners up there taking notes, seemingly talking about the play calling. What does the Patriots quarterback have to say about Alex Van Pelt?
AVP, I think I was on the radio show about AVP. It's what he's done for my development. And
about what?
I don't know.
He's on the show doing about what?
AVP, I think I was on the radio show about AVP. It's what he's done for
That's
my
when I
development.
go up to the woman and I say, how much for $50? And she goes, maybe P.
No, not maybe, AVP.
Is that it with nerds in high school?
And just a quarterback-friendly offensive coordinator. I think you want that in that room. He's easy on the way
what?
to coach you up. He'll coach you hard to let you know, when, my
Nick, are you and Drake May related? I went quiet.
Instagram, talking about radio.
Coach you hard to let you know, when my part of the job or my part of the play is not done right. He'll let you know. He'll be the first one to let me know, but I'm the first one to pump me up. So he's been awesome and huge for me. Him and TC both have been awesome, and can't say enough about those guys.
He likes them because he shortens their names to letters.
Right.
I will tell you this: they are going to fire both coordinators because the report is that they're going to keep Mayo, which is no surprise. Which there is a report that Vrabel would be interested in this job, and I thought Joe Murray had an interesting point in that if they got rid of Mayo after one season, could it delay the development of this team in terms of personnel because players would see how tumultuous things were at the top and not want to come here. That was an interesting thing, I thought.
The question is, do players look at Gerard Mayo and say, this thing is too tumultuous and I don't want to come here? Do potential coordinators, look at this job and say, wait a minute, the head coach just buried the offensive coordinator last week against Arizona. He might get fired, which means I'm going to get fired. Why would I go there?
Well, my whole thing is that if you look at like a Mike McCarthy, if he gets fired, which I don't think he's going to, but if you look at like Peterson in Jacksonville, who's going to get fired, I would bring in a guy who's had success as a head coach, and Peterson won a Super Bowl, so whatever. I don't care what. I mean, he's obviously has the experience of organizing a team and a successful one. He probably shouldn't be a head coach anymore, and he probably won't get the chance to be. So if you said to a guy like that, look, you're in charge of – you're going to be an assistant head coach, basically. Gerard needs to be taught things and needs someone to help organize. It needs that mind, and we're going to pay you a lot of money. The Crafts are going to have to spend money. So when people come back at me like, well, the Crafts are going to have to spend money. Yes, in this scenario, the Crafts are going to have to spend money. If the idea is the Crafts aren't going to spend any money and get new coordinators, you're absolutely right. Like, yes, they're not going to get some. I'm not going to, if I'm like a quarterbacks coach and the next in line for some big coordinator job, I'm not going to come to the Patriots, even though Drake May would be enticing to me, because you would probably think that, okay, I want to work with this kid. I can get something done with him. Elliot Wolf would concern me as well. Just the whole structure of it would concern me. But if I'm Peterson and I look at it, I go, well, all right, this is the highest profile, most money I can, most responsibility, most money I can get. My reputation is what it is. I'm not like living and dying by my success in this job. I take it. Gerard Mayo seems like someone who would be probably. I bet you Gerard Mayo would welcome that. Like, you take some of this away from me. Like you take some of this stuff. Like, let's work on structuring that out. Peterson, a guy like Peterson's been in the game forever, so they probably have this large network of at least people with knowledge of the talents of other people. I think that's what I would do if I was the Patriots. If I'm keeping Mayo, I'm taking a lot of the pressure off of him. And I'm doing that by giving a guy a lot of responsibility and a lot of money to be essentially an assistant head coach.
Yeah, especially if your mind is made up, as the Diana Rossini report indicates, and we all kind of feel anyway, that they're not going to move on from Mayo after a year. Okay, if you're committed to him and you made this deal with him, and he's going to be here for at least 2 years, you have to do something to help him.
Yes.
You just can't leave him hanging out there.
Yeah, you can't just get your sixth choice of offensive coordinator and some inexperienced defensive coordinator. I mean, you got to bring in people that have not just like an innovative offensive mind. It doesn't do you much good if a guy's just sitting in the quarterback room, 12 hours a day. He needs a guy that can help him with everything. Right. Structurally put this thing and put together a structure. Now, Mayo goes, this is what I want the identity of the team to be. This is how I feel comfortable running things. And Peterson goes, okay, here's how you accomplish that. Here's how you deal with ownership. Here's how you do. Here's how you have it with the front office. How you have it. You let them know what you want and you work in concert with them. Mayo doesn't know. I mean, this isn't an insult or a question of his intelligence, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He's never done it, and he doesn't have the experience. He just hasn't coached long enough. He got given, and another year wouldn't have mattered. Mm-hmm. I mean, this whole idea that, they thought they were going to keep Belichick for another. What the hell was he? It doesn't matter. He was a co-defensive coordinator for a team with a coach that relinquished no information or power to anyone else, and probably who knew Mayo was going to usurp him, so really kept him out of the loop. That would essentially be like taking Sauce Gardner and going like, all right, you're the head coach at Ohio State. Like, just like, look, you were
decent, here once.
Yeah, you're a decent. Well, no, he went to Cincinnati,
yeah, right.
So make him the coach. Yeah, okay, yeah, Cincinnati, like the University of Cincinnati. Like, hey, you had a couple good years in the pros. You were really good for us at Cincinnati. Go coach Cincinnati. And then he gets there and he goes, okay, huh? How do I do all of this? I don't know how to do it. And he's even admitted in interviews, like, I don't know. Like, I don't, like, there's so much of it that you can't prepare for. And it's so much more than sideline stuff. It's being the CEO of a huge staff of people, and they have to expand that staff. They have to build the analytics department. They have to build because Belichick didn't have one. They need a lot of stuff going on over there. They need to
could end up looking. I mean, if you have to dismiss him after the second year because things have gone so poorly, you have to at least give him a chance to save a little face, get a few wins next year, give him some support so that he can run some kind of a program so he can go get another job.
Well, I'm not convinced you have to do that. What, you waste another year for the betterment of Gerard Mayo?
Well, no, you're not wasting another year. The idea is that you believe, and I think he can be a good head coach. He's certainly smart enough and charismatic enough to do so. I just think they put him in a situation where they didn't think it through. I don't know if he should be a head coach right now, but that's why I think you can keep him and put a guy who's been a head coach and a successful one next to him. And I guarantee you that's good for 3 or 4 wins. Just doing that. Just having a guy for an off season helping establish and organize the staff. I assure you, and tell you what departments you need. Like, go to the crafts and go, all right, here's what we had in Philadelphia. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Belichick kept such a sparse staff of, and then as he got older, it just became if you kissed his ass. It really did. It was just all guys that kissed his ass, regardless of talent or correctness for the position. I mean, he's got Mike Lombardi. I know Mike Lombardi, Fred, you're obsessed. I am. But he gave Mike Lombardi the first job he got. And it's not because Mike Lombardi's some brilliant guy. He's an idiot. But he sat around kissing his ass. Mike Lombardi didn't have a NFL job for a decade, 2 decades. Like, I mean, he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's barely worked in the league in the last 2 decades.
Yeah, so he's an idiot. He can't even get a good media job. So, I mean, I have had more success than Lombardi in the last 20 years. And Belichick hired him exclusively for kissing his ass anyway. That's my thoughts on it. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
HD Boston.
Patriots!
From the opening kickoff to the final play.
Touchdown!
Your home of the pass. 98.5. The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins will wrap up their swing through Western Canada tonight with a 9 o'clock puck drop in Edmonton. Bees, of course, coming off a 4-3 overtime win in Calgary a couple of nights ago. RJ and Bob will have the call tonight here on the Sports Hub. Duncan Bruins pregame starting at 8:30. Celtics on WROR tonight with a 7 o'clock pregame as the Seas host the Chicago Bulls. Kristaps Porzingis questionable after leaving Sunday's win with right heel pain. Sam Hauser and Xavier Tillman also questionable for this one. Patriots will be back on the practice field today as they get ready for the Bills on Sunday. Kyle Duggar and Marcus Jones were missing from practice yesterday. Pats signed wide receiver Alex Erickson to the practice squad. Big Thursday night football game tonight with playoff ramifications. Broncos take on the Chargers. And Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado has rejected a trade to Houston, according to Mark Feinsand. The Red Sox are considered to be one of the potential landing spots. Headlines are brought to you by Service Credit Union. They've teamed up with Charlie McAvoy again this season for 73 reasons to defend New England's first responders. Visit servicecu.org/73. I'm Matt McCarthy. I'm Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update, 30 minutes.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com. What's the best way to listen to Toucher and Hardy?
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
I hate to do it this quickly. This is not a ska song.
It's the special. It's Holiday Fortnight. You like the specials?
I do, but this doesn't sound like a ska song to me.
Yeah, you know, now that you mention it,
No, the specials are a ska band. It
Yeah.
just doesn't sound like a ska
Yeah.
song.
it's got more of that cumbia feel to it. But we got Fishbone queued up for the next segment, so don't worry about it.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Skanks Miss
Yeah,
Fred's Last Day.
This is what, this is the creation of Adam. People got mad that we didn't do Thanksgiving. I mean, not a lot of people, but
I
some.
Just Fred, just you.
I wasn't, it was my idea not to do it.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, you definitely didn't get mad.
No, I did not get mad. It was my idea not to do it, but then Adam's right.
Long-time listeners, they like the routine. What were you saying?
My thing is, Matt, is that I give anyone whatever they want to do, they can do. I said, Adam, how many times, Adam? I said, it's your decision. You do what you want to do.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the leeway.
I appreciate the talent. All right, here we go. There was an anniversary, a very big anniversary in our business.
Yes. Last week marked the 19-year anniversary of Howard Stern's last terrestrial radio show. That occurred in December of 2005, which means we are just a couple of weeks away from the anniversary of the start of the David Lee Roth Show. We thought, what better time to go back and revisit some of our favorite radio show of all time, the one that had a huge, huge hand in killing off many radio stations, including WBCS.
Yeah. So what happened is that David Lee Roth is the reason that I am in this town.
Yeah.
Is because what they did, CBS did, is when they hired David Lee Roth, they thought that they had found the replacement for Howard Stern. So they took, maybe the most profitable radio show of all time, certainly in my opinion, the best. And they took it, and then instead of just going, okay, no one's going to be that yet, there probably will be another guy who's like a big star, but there's not one yet. So but there's plenty of talent in Chicago. There's plenty of talent in Los Angeles. There's plenty of talent in Detroit. There's plenty of talent in Philadelphia. There's plenty of talent in Boston. Let's just see if we can retain, 3/4 of the revenue, or, half the revenue, and build something back up. And then, because you're not going to catch lightning in a bottle twice. What they did is they put Adam Carolla, who actually had a good show, on in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Then they put a guy, I can't remember his name. Rover. No one knows, and I don't know. Who was very big in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And put him on in Chicago. But Chicago is such a parochial market. So is Detroit. Like Stern never did well in Detroit. No. So it never did well in Chicago. So like if you're not Detroit Chicago station show, Howard Stern made Drew and Mike on WRAF, who came before the show that you worked with. They with the I can't remember their name.
Dave and Chuck the Freak.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, but Drew and Mike at the time were making $2.5 million apiece, doing just Detroit because they beat Stern so soundly. So they hired David Lee Roth, who actually auditioned in Boston at WZLX at night. So Stern had I was telling you guys off the air. Stern had the guy, and a listener sent this to me, the guy who was basically corporately responsible for hiring David Lee Roth. And he's like, but it's so funny because he just still doesn't get it. He doesn't work in radio anymore.
And he never will.
And he was like, yeah, we really had to like race to get David Lee Roth because he certainly wasn't our first choice. He goes, okay, what'd you do? He goes, well, we went to Jon Stewart, and they're like, he goes, oh, to host the show? And they're like, oh, no. He wouldn't host the show. We just went to Jon Stewart because he was the Daily Show guy and asked who we should hire. Huh? Like, wouldn't you know more? And then when he said no, they went to Trey Parker and Matt Stone of South Park fame, who are very talented, but have a cartoon and a Broadway play, and said, hey, do you have an idea for a radio show? You guys are in radio, you stupid idiots. Like, you have access to everyone in radio.
And they had heard Roth do a week of shows on ZLX. No one who heard that in their right minds went, that's going to be what replaces Howard Stern.
Because what they thought they could do is, because of the name of David Lee Roth, they thought that they could, in the short term, hang on to a lot of advertisers. But in that short little term gain, they would lose everything.
Right.
So what do we have here?
So we have a clip from the David Lee Roth show. Before we've heard his first show ever. We've heard toward the very end when things went really bad with management. They had taken away his entire cast of characters. He had his former EMT partner in there with him. He had his bodyguard, whom he referred to as Animal, in the studio with him.
Had Uncle Manny calling in.
Uncle Manny was a 2-hour-long guest on the very first
show.
Just spent hours telling stories from the olden days. But this is somewhere in the middle where the show is cooking right along. This from later in January of his first month, and you will hear at the beginning he is still allowed to have his guitar player in studio doing what David Lee Roth called track slapping. So instead of just bumping back with a little bit of music and then getting into the actual content of the show, he would have this guitarist, Brian Young, in there soloing over the top of pre-recorded music. So that's how this segment begins, and I think you'll enjoy the quick direction that it takes, Fred.
Brian Young in the background there, baby. Ow! Roth Radio. New York.
All right, I don't actually even mind that. So he's got a guy playing guitar.
Sure.
And he's doing the David Lee Roth thing. I loved Van Halen. Great. So he does that. Now
Yes, I'm hot!
What's going on?
Yes, I'm hot! Ooh, yeah!
All right, so there you go. So he's a musician, so he's got that going on.
Yeah.
And now it's time to talk.
Yeah.
New York, Philly, Dallas, Boston, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, West Palm Beach, and Yakima. Don, he says he was imprisoned with molesters. Don, you're on. Are you there?
What a turn! What a turn! This is coming back from a commercial break, you
yeah.
understand. There's no setup.
Morning drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 18 markets.
Could you tell me everything they did?
Molester.
Could you tell me exactly
Yeah, good
everything
God.
they did in great detail?
Oh my God!
Now, I wonder if before this they were just chatting about molesters and someone called in to say, I've had some experience with molesters.
New York, Philly, Dallas, Boston, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, West Palm Beach, and Yakima. Don, he says he was imprisoned with molesters. Don, you're on. Are you there?
Hey, Dave. I was locked up in Pennsylvania.
Okay. What were you locked up for?
It was drugs. I was growing weed,
Okay.
and it was about 20 years ago. And these people, they won't change. One guy in particular, he made no bones about it. He was having sex with his daughter, and he said he should have never been prosecuted because she was enjoying it.
You can hear the music lightly in the background, too. They're keeping it.
Yeah, I mean, they're keeping it light. Now, this is very similar to the Stern thing. Call about your favorite story of a pedophile.
A topic. Is that like an ointment?
So it's very controversial. This guy is called and he said he did time with a man who was having sex with a relative, and that he should not be, that he shouldn't have been prosecuted. Now all of a sudden, the phone lines are gonna light up with a yay or nay on this whole thing.
Agree or disagree?
In or out?
Which is one of his favorite phrases that he used to employ. But let's see how
Out on pedophilia.
Yeah, let's see how Roth handles this very delicate situation.
He made no bones about it. He was having sex with his daughter, and he said he should have never been prosecuted because she was enjoying it.
All right, well, here's a question. Why all the sex crimes? Is it because there's just not enough booty to go around?
I hate this so much.
He's having fun.
We were listening to this as we were driving to work each day saying, oh, my God, we're going to be out of a job.
I was saying to Fred between segments, I'm like, every time we do this, I have like a little bit of PTSD because it brings me back to that very first show and going, oh, my God, we're all going to lose our jobs.
Well, you can tell he's thought a lot into it, and he's very engaged in the show in that he should never have A, taken this call, and B, then started joking around about and telling a joke. I'll tell you this, is that here's how much you shouldn't take that call. There was a show in Orlando that was on like the Hot Talk station, and they got into a lot of stuff because they were talking about how this child molester should have been murdered in jail, and then you got Monsters of the Midday was the name of the show.
Right.
And then the guy got murdered in jail. So they ended up getting off, but like it was like a whole situation, and they got brought into that thing. You don't want me to start talking about this stuff.
Molesters.
Yeah, this is making me uncomfortable. I don't like this. I don't like this this topic that he's doing.
And he said he should have never been prosecuted because she was enjoying it.
All right, well, here's a question. Why all the sex crimes? Is it because there's just not enough booty to go around? I'm serious.
I don't think it's a sex crime as much as a violent crime, and something is seriously wrong with these people, and these people are sick.
Okay, sick people are that is one element of it. But my question is that a result because of there's just not enough booty to go around?
Now, how many?
How are his instincts this bad? And this wasn't like the first show. Like this was a couple months in. Hardy, you said, is where you pulled this clip from.
A few weeks.
Well, no topic is taboo, and leave it to the lady to bring the show down. But there is no topic that is taboo if you can spin it into something hysterical, as David Lee Roth just magically did.
Holy crap.
He doubles down on the thing.
I listened to this show. I knew what was going on with this show. The clips I were looking for was of him just, really, really awkwardly getting into topics coming out of, the music and all the... All right, we're going to talk about abortion. And I thought that would be cringy enough. When I stumbled onto this one, oh, God.
Yeah,
the molesters.
Yeah, he's saying it like, I'm an old school radio guy. Because, the Big Bopper was taking calls about molesters.
Hopping and bopping and popping, baby. With the boss bet for the top of the pop smash gold with the timely tunes for those with a textured taste. Shut up, Dave. No time to waste. Molesters.
Jesus Christ.
Could have just kept on being an EMT. Would have been helping people out.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
He's a great guest. What I say?
Yeah.
He's a fantastic radio guest.
Not anymore.
Yeah, sure, not now because he's really seems to have kind of slipped. But
he should have been fired that day. He should have been taken off the air forever. That day he stayed on for 2 more
And then
months.
his thing would be like,
agree, not disagree.
Because I'm sure Howard did like molester bits and stuff. And I know Opie and Anthony used to play the Nambla videos. And I'm sure that would be his argument. Is like, well, Stern did it. And it's like, well, no, not like this.
Not like that.
Right.
Everyone knew that they were trying to be stupid. They were trying to be offensive. You think you're actually curing some of society's ills by asking questions like,
just not enough booty to go around?
Yeah, no.
This guy's had a fascinating life. I've read all these rock and roll memoirs. I could not get through his. It's called Crazy from the Heat. It's out of print. And so I'll give you an example. It would be like, I was in this barn on our property in Indiana. I'm 12 years old, and I find this Mr. Microphone. Joey was the name of our roadie on the 79 tour. Like, it's just like, what? And I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Like, he told the editor to go screw. I'm just going to free associate all over this son of a bitch.
It's like Bill Murray's book. I got through it all, but it's just a tornado of his mind.
I threw it away. And I've read more of these dumb books, especially the Tom Petty one where it's just some other musician kissing his ass and he goes over his heroin addiction that ultimately killed him, like on a page. He's like, I don't want to dwell on this. Oh, sure, let's not dwell on the interesting stuff. Let's really get into like how the guitars sound and how he got the tone on Wildflowers. Boo. All right. Well, listen, Dave Lee Roth.
Molesters.
Always the greatest minds in the world in radio. Always the greatest minds. All right. Look, the NBA ratings are way down. I did not even know about this until during the show yesterday. And that's interesting because when we're talking about college basketball, I feel very informed. When we were talking about the NBA, I'm not a huge fan. I've never been that big a fan of the NBA. I was when I was little. As an adult, I've never been that big an NBA fan, and maybe people are starting to come around with my way of thinking.
Come around on also not being a fan.
Yeah, that's what I say. All right, we'll talk about it in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
It's got like 3 other songs on.
With all, they're not all ska songs, but with all Christmas songs, and they just have a song called. They played that video on MTV.
Oh yeah,
they played that video on MTV.
And the video's got clips from the movie in it as well.
Yeah, it's just clips of
and the band dancing around.
Exactly. I actually love that.
I love that band. They're top 10 live act ever I've seen.
Fishbone.
Yeah.
Fishbone should have.
tremendous.
Fishbone should have been bigger than all their contemporaries.
Agreed.
It was Thelonious Monster, Fishbone, Jane's Addiction, and Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Fishbone should have been the biggest band out of all of them. They all agree. I mean, the idea that the Red Hot Chili Peppers, especially, were a bigger band than Fishbone is absolutely insane. They're such a worse band than Fishbone. It's almost criminal. That's Fishbone screwing around, but like on a real album, like Truth and Soul is one of the top 5 albums of all time. All right, very good. The NBA ratings are down 40%. This is not a joke, and you can't excuse it for the time of year. You can't excuse it for anything. I mean, they have this Emirates Cup thing or the whatever the hell it's called, NBA Cup thing, which the players seem to care about, and this is all happening while they're trying to revitalize the league. So what is going on in the NBA that is causing all of this? They asked Joe Mazzulla, and here's what he had to say.
It's an interesting perspective, I think, because in the NFL, people aren't.
He was asked if the too much scoring with the 3-pointers. So this is one of the theories. Sorry, I should have set this up better. A lot of theories floating around out there. Adam Silver says no, it's not so much about the product. It's not that. But people are saying, well, of course it's the product. The product is the thing that the people are not consuming. So why are the ratings down? Is that too much scoring, too many 3-pointers? Here's what Joe Mazzulla has to say about that.
It's an interesting perspective, I think, because in the NFL, people aren't like, I want to see less scoring. They're not going to make the end zone smaller. They're not going to make the field smaller. So, scoring is up across in other sports. And I guess my question would be is why in basketball is scoring up being an issue as opposed to other sports? Does anybody want to watch a football game and see less touchdowns? So I think at the end of the day, anything new or change is different.
I can argue against any one of these.
I say with me, and I'll start.
Okay.
Major League Baseball is better with less scoring.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's number one.
That solves so many of their problems. Starting pitchers becoming stars.
Yep.
Pace of games.
Sure.
Athletic fielding. It's all better. Go ahead.
Okay. When there's scoring is up in the NBA, what is that a result of?
3-point shooting.
3-point shooting. So, would you tune in to watch a shooting contest?
Nope.
No. When the NFL scoring is up, it's a result of what? Long downfield pass plays, great execution in the red zone, great running backs.
Yeah, running backs breaking, yards after catch.
There's
like
a
guys
variety of ways that you can score in the NFL, and the scoring gets up. But in the NBA, it happens one way, and that's guys taking shots when they get across half court and they just chuck it up, and they don't run any plays. There's no game. It's just shooting.
Mazzulla's not wrong, but he's focusing on the question, which is because he's smart. It's scoring. Scoring's not the issue in the NBA. It's not because of the scoring. It's how it's how the points are. It's the 3-point shooting. What people watch the NBA for is the idea that they're the greatest athletes on the planet, and to watch them maneuver to get open against defense, which requires, extremely athletic movement.
Right.
Here's what I'm certain they'll do is they're going to move the 3-point line back. There's no doubt about it, and that expands. It allows for a little bit more movement too.
Yep.
It allows for more movement because it might not even, if you move it a foot or two back, it might not even decrease 3-point shooting, but it makes the mid-range shot longer, which I think is more of the thing. Because you know how Brad Stevens used to have practices and he would punish the players if they took shots within a certain mid-range area. That expands that distance. So guys aren't going to be taking shots from the old 3-point line, which does matter. It frees things up. Here's what they should do. They should expand the width of the court. Why? Because it gives these guys are so big and so fast. It's just an antiquated concept. You know how in the NHL or in Olympic hockey they expand the ice,
right?
And it's a different game.
Changes the game.
It's a more finesse game, and it's more open. listen, if you're going to take away physicality and you're going to not have the Knicks, Pistons type teams anymore, even the Celtics in the 80s were tough. If you're not going to have those kinds of teams, and that's fine. The NBA got bigger when that stopped. You got to expand the court and let these guys run.
I think it's a great idea. And you want to know why they won't do it?
Why?
They'll take away seating.
Yep.
Yes, I have heard
$high-dollar
that.
courtside seats.
Yeah,
Not going to happen.
But my thing is this: is that you can find a way to jam some more seats down there, or I would. Who buys courtside seats? Why do they buy them? For the most part,
to be seen on TV.
Exactly. So what if I could make the argument now that I've got to take away 40 seats, all right? Let's say they find a way to jerry-rig it so they can jam a few more seats in. They're even more precious. There's even less people on camera.
Charge more.
I'm going to charge more, and this is I don't think guys that have courtside seats, because, I mean, sometimes it's $10,000 a game. Like, I don't think you're outpricing them. Like, if you went, like, they're 20 now. Like, they're going, then some other guy will buy them. And what would you rather have? I understand that's going to be a pushback, I know, and I have thought about that. But if you went to the owners, okay, look, you're going to lose, like, this amount of money, but what it will make up in television revenue, in local television revenue, is going to be miles more important to you as a bottom line issue. So that's what they should do. Is that they probably won't, but they should. I don't think they will expand the width of the court. I don't.
Your idea is to expand. Joe Mazzulla has an idea about shrinking something.
Did you want to extend the shot clock in the game?
No.
So he said, do you want to expand the shot clock in the game?
Okay.
Did you want to extend the shot clock in the game?
No, I don't think it's less. Just play faster. Yeah.
You want like 16
yeah, whatever. Yeah, why not? You know?
Chaos.
Just mess up the game even more.
More threes.
Yeah, and more anything. Just more transition, more opportunity.
He wants to shorten the shot clock.
Yeah, he's really doubling down on he just wants, his team to, you want to keep the shot clock where it is. You want to get these guys an opportunity to be athletic. I don't think that makes it more transitional either, because the shot clock doesn't start until you inbound the ball. So I don't know how that would lead to more transition.
Well,
you could you could just have a continuous shot clock. As soon as the ball went into the opposing basket, you start the shot clock, and then you would encourage press.
Ah, there you go. That's interesting.
Yeah, then you would encourage pressing because you would have to really push things. Or how about you make it a 5-second? You got to get over the half. You got to get over the goal in 5 seconds.
That's interesting.
I mean, if you want chaos, these are all things you could do.
I mean, if we're talking about cockamamie ideas, why not? Why not eliminate the 3-point line? All these guys can shoot. Isn't the 3-pointer the problem in the NBA right now? So expanding the 3-point line isn't going to really matter because these guys can shoot from anywhere on the court at this point.
But I will tell you this, that's cooler. Like, the further away, the cooler it is. Like, I would tell you this. If there was something that was on TV, and because you guys probably aren't big NBA weekend guys anymore. I don't think anyone is. But if there was something like, hey, we're going to give $1 million to the guy that can hit the most, like, closest to the half-court line shots, I'd be like, oh, cool. Because, like, if you saw Steph Curry go out there and hit, like, 6 of 10 from, like, half-court,
yeah, that's
dope. I like when they do that. So, it's like, I would argue that if you move the game is the game is the game. But I'm telling you, if the result of expanding the 3-point line not is so much even that there's less 3-pointers as it is that expands the area where they're not going to shoot. So maybe it's more athletic plays to the basket.
But Joe Mazzulla must watch a lot of these games, and he's consuming a lot of the product. So
no, I mean I add to that. I don't watch NBA games, so I'm just as much the problem as anyone else is.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't like watching the games.
He does.
No, we're both there, Joe.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it either.
Nah, I don't watch.
No, he watches what they call film. He ain't got time to watch games. Hang on one second.
Sure.
Matt, go ahead.
Morning, fellas. I just wanted to 2 points I have. If you did actually expand the court, you'd make more money off the courtside seats. You'd have a much, the perimeter of the court is longer. You'd lose seats, but you'd have more high money seats.
Yeah.
The way you'd end up having an extra 30 to 35 seats on the court side. Also, my 3-point line idea, just put a horizontal line between the logo and the current 3-point line. It just no one's going to take corner twos, so it'll open up a lot of drives. And if you have it horizontal, put a lot of pressure in the middle, kick out to the wing, drives. I think that's the right way to do it. This whole curved 3 and the corner 3 is really a big problem for me.
I like that. I do like that. A horizontal 3.
I love the baseline 3, though.
I'm not a fan.
Because
he's right. Because if you kick it out,
It's only going to count for 2 now, Hardy.
Then you're driving to the basket.
I'm not shooting anymore.
Yeah, because that's the idea, is that they don't want them taking those mid-range shots.
Is it all the 3-pointer, though? Or is it the fact that the NBA regular season is completely and totally worthless? The NBA is a drama and storyline league. It's not necessarily a watch-the-game kind of league. Isn't this kind of all coming home to roost for the NBA?
Okay.
I mean, what stars play in the regular season anymore?
Okay, so there is an issue with stars not playing. And there's the old thing about the season's just too long.
Everybody makes the playoffs in the league. You got to
everyone makes the playoffs.
Basically,
it starts in October. It doesn't finish until next summer. It's forever away. But the one thing when you're talking about ratings of any kind of TV, Fred, they must factor this in. There's so much more stuff to watch now. So if the number goes down, your overall share of the audience goes down. Of course it's going to when there are so many more options out there.
But it's going up in the NFL and the NHL, although far less than the NBA, is solid. So the argument is that it's the only sport that's hemorrhaging ratings at this very moment.
Oh.
I mean, Major League Baseball already has. But I will say this, that if in 1978 they didn't even bother airing finals games live, there's nothing to be said. We always just live in our own lives, in our own time on the globe. There was a time when I was alive. I mean, I wasn't coherent, but there was a time that it's kind of like now. Self-deprecation. There was a time, in my lifetime where no one gave an F about the NBA.
Yeah.
Who's to say that there'll be a time where no one else gives an F about the NBA? There was a time where you would never imagine a world where Major League Baseball wasn't the most important sport in the world. There would be a time when you couldn't imagine horse racing or boxing. Imagine if you told someone 50 years ago, no one was going to give a rat's ass about boxing.
Or maybe one of the more popular sports in the world that isn't consumed here, which has given Joe Mazzulla another idea or two.
I like watching other sports. I like in cricket that, you can just keep wearing the pitcher down by fouling off on
Stop it.
He's got ideas about cricket, Fred.
He's flexing. Now he's doing what he did with you. Now it's how you and him bonded.
Huge mental, psychological component.
Shut up with the cricket.
Yeah, just because you don't understand it. It's the beautiful
I do
sport.
understand that every time I'm on an international cruise, it's on.
Bowlers.
And it's on, and it's the same game.
From 2 months ago.
Yes, and it's the same game from 2 months ago. It's the same game for 3 days.
It's a test.
Yes, cricket goes on for an intolerable amount of time.
Test match.
Days they go on, and not perceivably, in real earthly time, sunrise and sunset. They go on and on and on and on and on. You think baseball's boring? Holy Jesus! And the clothes?
I like it.
Very egalitarian. Well, you're a golf guy, so I think you like the egalitarian things.
Oh, am I a golf guy? Which is why I had a near sleepless night last night.
Yeah, he had a wet dream kind of scenario.
Oh, but it was
walking in on a nude Playboy model in your bed. That was what Hardy had yesterday, an adolescent dream, but that of a man in his 50s. We will have that for you in just a moment. All right, so we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. All right, Hardy, I sort of know what's going on with this. You had almost a hallucinating, like a blissful experience yesterday, a God shot, if they would.
Oh, no, but God was laughing at me. Yesterday, I was leaving, not a pickleball clinic, I'll have you know.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not a lesson, I'll have you know. But after having purchased my own paddle and shoes, I attended open pickleball play.
Whoa, you were brave enough to go out there without a lesson? And
I took the clinic. I was told by the clinic instructor that I was ready to go into open play, low level, mind you.
Sure.
We're talking about the 2.0 to 2.9 rating. Okay.
Yeah.
Start yourself off slow there.
They do the same thing as tennis. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm playing in the low level open pickleball. I go for 90 minutes. I got my sweat on. You know, I'm feeling good, loose, right? Endorphins kicking in.
Sure.
It's like that runner's high, Fred. You know,
I'm aware. Yeah.
I feel like I got an 8-ball in me, and I'm ready to hit the casino.
Yeah, it's a lot like after you get out of an ice bath. It's like all that dopamine just comes flooding into your head.
Right. But, you know, the legs...
Except it doesn't.
But I'm leaving the pickleball compound, and I'm leaving Westwood. Get right there on the Westwood-Canton line. If you know the area, University Station is where the train station is. A lot of people know where the big Amtrak
Dedham
is.
Street, Canton Street, all down
So
that area.
you know.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we're the like Westwoody. Yeah, like by the train station. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right near Topgolf. I'm banging a left off of University Ave, going on to Dedham Street. It's kind of a treacherous intersection. There's 2 left turn lanes. And then because of Topgolf now, you have to merge right after you turn left. You have to get in the right lane unless you're going left to Topgolf, which sometimes, Fred, I'll just do. Like, I got stuck in this lane.
You have a membership.
Maybe I'll just swing in and swing the wrenches.
Yeah, it pays for itself.
It does.
You're making money, really.
As I'm making the left turn onto Dedham Street, cars have stopped right in front of me. Everyone just kind of stops suddenly. And I hear like a crunching
and
sound.
Everyone's just jerking it.
And I hear like almost like a soft collision sound, and I hear another odd sound, and I look, and in the road on the, I guess it would be the southbound side of Dedham Street, leaving Westwood, going back into Canton, there is a box. I would call it a medium-sized moving box. Not that you would put books in, but not a wardrobe box either. Something in between. It is tipped over in the street, and spilling out of that box are sleeves of Titleist Pro V1 golf balls. And now some of the sleeves have opened up, and there are balls bouncing on the road.
No.
Imagine. People stopping. There are golf balls scattering like tiny $5 bills.
That's from Goodfellas. No kidding.
Tiny $5 bills just bouncing all over the place. There are cars in front of me. There are cars behind me. People are weaving around. There's nowhere to pull off. I think there's a Granger off to the right,
There
but
is.
you can't access that parking lot. At least I couldn't because I was in the left turn lane. There's nowhere to turn left from where you are. There's cars coming the other way anyway. There's no way to stop.
Well, not if you really want to.
There's no way to pull. I guess I could have hopped the curb.
Yep.
But I had a flurry of emotions. Number one, oh my God, Titleist Pro V1s.
Is that what you play?
Hundreds of them. I started playing them this summer because my neighbor would give me his old ones. He only uses them once because he's good and he doesn't want to use a golf ball more than once. He'll play with one for a round and then he sets it aside and then he started giving them to me. But I don't go buy them because they're too expensive. They're $50 a dozen. They really don't go on sale for more than a couple of bucks. That's what they cost. You know, it's like, no, that's how much they are. So I'm looking at that. I can't believe it. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And my head is swirling. How did this happen? I mean, they're not being carried like on an open air flatbed truck. Did they fall off like a pickup? Did they come out of like the side of a van? Did they fall out of a UPS truck? Aha. So who do I contact, Fred?
UPS, the state police.
No.
UPS.
My UPS driver, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you text him.
Yeah, because I have his phone.
Right.
He's a friend,
Now, how did you get his number?
Well, I mean,
don't tell me.
How do you get anyone's number? How do you get your mailman's number? How do you get the recycling and trash guy's number? You just ask.
Why would you get your mailman's number?
Stevie? I might need to talk to him.
Well, I do talk to my mailman a lot because I see him when I'm walking my dog. And he's a big fan of the show.
Okay,
so I talk
that's
to my
nice.
mailman a lot.
Well, Mark and I have some mutual friends, and we played some golf. So, yes, I do have his number, and we will text occasionally. I text him. I'm like, hey, I just realized I told him what I saw, and I said, isn't like the UPS hub for the area right there
on University Ave?
And he says, I'm on it. And he texts me back, and a minute later he goes, well, there's no incident report. There's nothing to speak of. He goes, I don't think it came off of one of our trucks. But I am fascinated as to how these golf balls were being transported. A lot of people are theorizing it has something to do with Topgolf, which is right nearby, but they don't use Titleist Pro V1s.
But they might sell them.
So here's my theory, and I was kept awake by this last night.
The Ukraine?
Drones?
Yeah, something.
This is only a theory.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was taking these balls to Topgolf as a giveaway item for a corporate event. A lot of like holiday parties taking place right now at Topgolf, and this maybe some office employee was tasked with picking up all these balls, taking them to Topgolf.
Some low-level jabroni.
Fred, I don't know. We don't know. I'm hoping we can find out. 617-779-0985.
Yeah,
Tell us.
The Globe on at least according to the front page story has very little.
It's kind of like the drone. It's kind of like the drone reporting. They're just telling you what happened over and over again without telling you what actually happened.
Yeah,
what's happening?
Fox 25 is on in the background, and it's just basically a kind of it's an opinion piece at this point. There's not a lot of solid facts.
I'm fascinated because they weren't like.
Why didn't you pick them up?
You're burying the lead on this, Hardy.
Why didn't you
pull over?
There's nowhere
get the
to
Pro
pull
V?
over.
Why didn't you just?
There is,
Why
Hardy.
didn't you just stop the car in the middle of the road and just go out and pick them up? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
I thought about it. I really did think about it, but it's.
Did you? How many things did you say out loud? You were alone, right?
Yeah.
How many things did you say out loud?
It's just a dozen different things, mostly speaking to my maker. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Now, was anyone else? Could you look around and see other white dudes going crazy?
You do a lot of driving at this time of day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's rush hour is starting around 3:30. It's nuts.
Even earlier, yeah.
Okay, so there's nowhere to stop. There's no way to stop without inconveniencing, everybody.
But if those are Pro V1s, Hardy,
let me ask you this:
the world.
I do want to. This is a serious question.
And this,
I'm not joking.
Okay, go
if
ahead.
it was money, would you have stopped the car?
No, the same situation.
Right. Okay, so it's interesting. So if a bunch of money fell off a truck, do you think other people would have stopped?
Other people would have stopped if it were money.
Right, but then, so what I'm saying is, other people would have stopped with money. You could have been the guy that stopped. I wouldn't have cared about the balls, but if it was something, and I not necessarily, I don't even know if I would have stopped if it was money, to be honest with you, because then I think someone was out to get me. If I picked it up, there'd be a consequence.
You would have had to have stopped because people in front of you would have stopped.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, if I was the lead car.
Yeah.
So, I'm really surprised you didn't stop and get them.
And it wasn't even so much to get them for me. I wanted to help the person who had lost the golf balls.
Yeah. You would have put you would have stopped. I'm sure would have made flyers and handed them out around the neighborhood. Be Real is making an allegation I just don't think is true. He says you've stolen this story according from Jim Plotline, where Jim was explaining to his wife why he was late for the anniversary.
At the very least, I want someone to call, text, email, and say, I saw it too. But what I really want is to get to the bottom of it.
You could have had a road flare that you put down.
I have road flares. I could have done it.
Yeah, I mean, you could have put a road flare down and kind of taken things into your own hands. All right, people People are calling in.
But
maybe they have information.
I also played the tape to the end. Like, what do you do? Like, so there's all these loose sleeves and golf balls. Would I be running around the intersection with my hoodie pulled out, like, tucking them in?
It's like a Twilight Zone episode. They just keep falling out, and the more you pick up, the more you lose. Like, it's like digging a hole in the sand. Adam's very offended that you made this.
That he did the practical effect of dumping the golf balls in his driveway to get the sound right.
Jesus Christ.
That's what
I was trying to say.
You should have seen me out there last night.
Yeah.
Here's what else I'm trying to say.
All right, man. I got to let you go.
Yeah, we're very late again. All right, we'll be right back.
Who else is on the phone? Who's called with answers so far?
There's a couple guys. We'll take them after the break.
Good.
All right, very good. We'll be right back.
finishing up their Western Canada swing tonight with a 9 o'clock puck drop in Edmonton. RJ and Bob have pregame here on the Sports Hub starting at 8:30. Patriots will be back on the practice field again today as they get ready for the Buffalo Bills on Sunday, 4:25 kickoff. 3 players missing from practice yesterday. Kyle Duggar dealing with an ankle issue, Marcus Jones a hip injury, and JaMychal Hasty also has an ankle problem. The Patriots also made a roster move yesterday, signing wide receiver Alex Erickson to the practice squad. Thursday night football action tonight. Broncos take on the Chargers in a game with big AFC playoff implications. Hayden Hurst expected to be activated for that one for LA. And Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado has rejected a trade to Houston. Red Sox are still considered one of his potential landing spots. Headlines are brought to you by the Albrecht Auto Group, Zoe's auto dealer. Get respect at Albrecht with 7 locations and thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles. Get the right vehicle at the right price now at albrechtauto.com. I'm Matt McCarthy from Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Here we go.
Boom. I win. Kaboom.
Yeah.
It's a buddy.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, if your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube, search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, and then subscribe, and you will never have to do that again. And Joe Murray's on YouTube Live as well, and you can talk to him. He actually says the names of the people that are on there. He shouts out to them. A woman from Seattle watching yesterday. By the way, who's the lady who gave us those things, those nice gifts, like the Tigers thing?
Michelle in South Carolina sent me some great golf gear and sent you the Tigers shirt.
Yeah.
Michelle in South Carolina, she used to call in the midday show all the time. I don't know if she's still calling in, but I'm still in contact with her, and she sends great Christmas gifts every year.
So we're fairly positive that's who sent it because there was no information.
I spoke with her, and she did, and she listens and watches every morning.
Did you give her my salutations and thanks?
I did indeed. Would you like to see confirmation of it?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for that in a little bit. Hardy came across dozens and dozens of Pro V1 golf balls scattered across an intersection, Westwood Dedham area, by a Topgolf.
Yeah.
He did not leave the vehicle to retrieve those, but he did faint from all the blood leaving his head and entering his genitals as he became very aroused, like he had never been before. Dan, go ahead.
Hardy, good decision not to stop. First off, you said there was nowhere to pull over.
Yep.
If you stop in the middle of traffic to steal golf balls, then you're going to get a ticket for leaving your vehicle, impeding traffic. This happens all the time with cash trucks. They track those people down and either arrest them or tell them to give it back. So good job for that. But the only other option you would have had is to collect them all and do what the guys did with the Red Sox banner, run across 3 lanes and then make a ransom video and try to get something in return.
Is that my man? 4 lanes of traffic.
4 lanes of traffic. And John, I didn't mean to. I didn't know Dan was going to steal your joke.
Hey, what's that guy talking about? This is Louie from Malden, and we were working. We found the banner. We went against 4 lanes of traffic. Well, come on, Freddie.
Yeah,
it's me, Louie. I'm from Malden. It's me, Louie.
I understand, and the fact that you're from Malden makes it all the sweeter. They're referring, if you don't know, to these 2 guys. It is the greatest.
I've been looking for the clip for the last 10 minutes. I can't find it. I'm sorry.
But they were
scrubbed from the internet.
They were these guys, these local guys, who look like you would assume they would, were on the news, and they had said that they had found this huge Red Sox AL championship banner, and they had it, and they were like, maybe we've turned down a lot of offers. We had some offers from the Red Sox, they wanted stuff from the Red Sox for it back, and the thing was, it was going to be hung on the Green Monster, it was gigantic, and the idea that the Red and it held no special. It meant not like the Red Sox could make 1 million of them. Like it held no value. Right. It wasn't. It was just something that they had made that had never been in the park. They could just go make another one, which is exactly what they did, I believe. They never returned it. They didn't want it, and no collector goes. You know what I want is that thing that was they made at the Banner shop,
right?
And that it was never in Fenway Park, and it's the size. It's like 50 feet by 50 feet. Like who the hell wants that thing around their house?
They don't even hang this thing off the Green Monster. It's the one they put on the outside of the ballpark where they've got the years. It was the American League East Championship banner.
Yes.
Wasn't even the World Series banner.
And it was just basically something from a print shop because it had never even been hanging on Fenway Park. I'm not making any judgments, but there seemed to be fentanyl in the system.
Yeah, that's a good guess. Dan Roach, Hardy, we did have a report come into WBZ TV that there were golf balls all over the road yesterday at some point. I don't know if we ever followed up. Could not confirm with state police.
Where's the lack of true lack of professionalism there from the folks at WBZ and Dan Roach? It's a major news story. They should be all over that, Hardy. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And then I do have one email.
But they couldn't confirm it, and they are a legitimate news organization. I roll.
Hardy happened.
They're liberal slants.
Happened around 3:30. Made the left, was a black pickup in front of me in the left lane. Box fell out of the bed into the right lane. He ended up going into Topgolf. Don't know if the hatch was already down or if he left it open and the box slid out.
Whatever it was a major catastrophe. I hope it didn't cost the guy his job. I mean, it's a real screw up. I do like that Dan called in, though, and said because, all that's on video camera. Like, obviously, you're being taped everywhere, as evidenced by when that dude from the healthcare place got assassinated. I mean, they just had cameras on the street.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, there's cameras at all these intersections, and that's the thing is, if money came off, I'm telling you, if I saw a bunch of money on the road, I'd think two things. I'd be like, A, how much is this going to change my life if I pick up, a bunch of this money? And two, there's no way I'm just getting away with this money. Someone's going to want it. It's two things. It's a bank or a drug dealer, and both of them are going to want it back. And if the guy has enough, if the drug dealer has enough money that's like when people find cash in a bag on the beach, and then those idiots are on TV going, "I found all this cash." The guy's going to want it back. Shush.
Funny
shush.
how you never hear from them again after that.
Because these drug dealers drop them out of literally drop them out of airplanes, and they sink to the sea, and then they have someone come by in a boat, and they press a button, and it inflates, and it comes up to the surface.
But
if you're operating in that kind of operation, you're gonna want it. You're gonna track the money.
Yeah,
you're gonna want it back.
Yeah, chances are you'll have the means to track it down and get it back.
You don't just notch it up to trial and error.
Right.
You want that money back.
Yeah, well, that's leakage. It happens in the business. But Fred, you would have done the same thing, and you know me. Yeah, it's this bounty of
something
golf
you
balls
really
there.
want. Yeah.
Really want. But my first inclination was, oh my God, this is a disaster for somebody. You want to help them. You want to help them, get this stuff. They're not mine. I wasn't going to scoop them up and keep them for myself. Would have I expected maybe some kind of reward? Keep a few sleeves for yourself. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's very nice. I couldn't, but thank you. I will.
What if the guy who was driving them was it was his relative ran the Top Golf around here, but he was one of the vice presidents of Titleist, and you started going around picking up the balls and handing it to him, and he's like, "What's your name?" And you're like, "Rob Poole,"
right?
And he's like, "Okay, let me get your number," and you're like, "Yeah, of course, we'll be friends." I mean, you drive a pickup, and then automatically we should exchange numbers.
Keep going, yeah, because I love the scenario so far.
And then anyway, so he's like, Rob Poole, he's got your he Googles you, he finds your address. All of a sudden, you come home.
What shows up? What's there?
There's this huge box.
Come on, how big?
I'm talking
medium size.
You could fit inside it.
Box of golf balls.
Yeah, real small, like a diamond ring would be in. And you open it up, and it's a golf ball. And he's like, "Go F yourself." No. You show up to the house, and there's this big. I want to know what you would do. So there's this big box. You could live in it if you ever got back really into coke.
Yeah.
And and you open it up, and it's the whole kit and caboodle, new bag,
Nice.
clubs, like new stuff that they're just testing out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all there. How do you get back? Do you text the guy thank you, or what do you do?
That is handwritten note level
Yeah.
response.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not a text back.
Yeah.
And then invite him out to play. Hey, come springtime, I'd love to have you as a guest.
And then he turns around and he goes like, "Why don't you play it? We have this Titleist course that it's not, you can't even see it on Google Maps.
Right.
It's like NASA stuff. It's the CIA plays here.
Right.
Area 51 for golf courses.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is where we try out the real stuff. Like when Barney Rubble went off the tee in front of Mr. Slade and got a hole-in-one with his putter.
It sounds like an awesome origin story for my new best friend, who would remain that way for decades, maybe until death.
And you're not joking. You have your UPS driver, because the postman walks around your neighborhood on foot in Massachusetts. That's not the case in other places where you're allowed to have the mailbox on the road, and they drive by and put the mail in, and you leave a tip maybe at Christmas. How much do you tip the mailman, by the way, just very quickly? This is something I was going to ask off air.
$50, right?
$50? Jesus Christ, McCarthy. Really?
I wouldn't do less than a $25 gift card. Do you do cash?
I won't
for the
do
mailman?
gift card, because the gift card I feel they don't want. I would do
I
cash.
think we're doing cash this year for pretty much everyone.
Because I'm guessing if you got the UPS guy's number, you're tipping everybody. And you're waiting inside for them to come by so you can hand it to them.
Well, that's the best part.
Yeah. Because you can't just tip the garbage man for, hey, thanks for picking up the garbage, which is your job.
Waste collector.
They don't even get out of the truck anymore.
Joey does.
Okay, well, Joey's, do they get out of the truck in Canton?
He does at my house.
What, for you? Just for you?
No, for the dog.
Oh.
And then he puts if the dog isn't outside, he will put the treats on top of the barrel and then roll the barrel into the driveway for us. Joey and Scout are good friends. As,
You know what you could
as
do?
is Reno. Scout loves Reno so much he doesn't even give her treats.
Listen,
he just gets out of the truck.
You
to
know
pet.
what? You know what you should do is you should put a nice card around Scout's neck and have Scout run out, and when they go to pet him, they're like, "What's this?"
How have I not thought of that?
Yeah. And it says, and then you put a paw print, and you're like happy from the pools.
I know about the paw print.
Yeah, and you put the paw print.
And then you write in your left hand.
Yes, because the dog wouldn't write well because
And
they're
a
stupid.
couple of misspellings in there too.
Yeah, that's how the elf on the shelf wrote. My son saw a picture of, and he's like, "This is your handwriting." He did it this year. He's like, he's found an old elf on the shelf note that I wrote, and he goes, "This is your handwriting." I'm like, "You cracked the case, Milo." Well done.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad, I knew that it wasn't real. That was your handwriting. I've put 2 and 2 together. Keith has, this has captured everyone's imagination. Keith, go ahead. My last day. Keith,
Hey.
Keith, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Good. Hey.
I just was going to Wegmans, and I just picked up one of the golf balls,
No, you didn't.
and it says on it, iShares by BlackRock. So maybe it is some sort of promo ball.
Are you serious? Where was the ball?
Right exactly where you said. I got off the ramp to go to Wegmans, and there was a ball sitting in the curb, so I pulled into the parking lot, and I've got it in my hand. It says Pro V1 F. I don't know anything about golf, just so you know. It says FTSE Russell on the ball, Titleist 4. And then on the other side, it says iShares by BlackRock, like the letter I and then shares, SHARES.
It's corporate.
So maybe it was a delivery of some promo balls.
Well, BlackRock is a financial company.
Yep.
And those are promo balls.
Is it a Pro V1 or a Pro V1X?
It says Titleist 4, and then on the side it says Pro V1, no X next to it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hardy, you are all holier than thou. No, I wouldn't take the golf
Is
balls.
the
Turns out it's some big Wall Street type of thing. Like, you are not robbing from
Dude,
anybody.
I think
you would
BlackRock-
have been the Robin Hood of Dedham Street yesterday.
I think Vanguard has got our 401ks in BlackRock funds. So BlackRock retirement funds. So I mean,
so here's
I wonder if that's what they're doing now. If Beasley, in lieu of 401k, is just going to give us some golf balls.
So here's step.
You take that.
Here's the next step.
They don't match already.
Today I go to Topgolf and I work my sources there and find out if the FTSE Russell iShares by BlackRock was having a corporate event at Topgolf yesterday.
Well, I think that you know the answer to that, Hardy. I think that, I mean, you could corroborate it, but I think that is what was going on. Scott, go ahead.
Hey, guys, what's up? Hey, I just tipped my trash guy last Thursday. $25 cash. I handed it to him, and I make homemade half-sour pickles, like New York style.
Yeah.
And I gave him a half-gallon of those homemade. And the gentleman goes to me, he's like, you want to know something, Scott? You're the first one in 17 years that's given me anything for a Christmas day.
I'm going to put you on hold, and you and Hardy just exchange numbers because you guys are going to be good friends.
Then he took those pickles and threw them in the back of his truck, and I mean the backpack.
He threw them in the back of something, and it was him. Said, thanks for the pickles. I know what I'm sitting on.
But you and I are I can't believe no one had tipped the guy in 17 years. That's criminal.
Trash guy too?
I don't tip the trash guy. I don't know the trash guy. I'm tipping my mailman, and I tipped the lady that cleans my house. She's coming today. I left a nice chunk of change for her. Woo-hoo-hoo. She just had a kid. Ben, go ahead.
Ready, baby.
Hello, Benjamin.
Good day to you. December brings us the birth of a savior. January brings us the birth of a Fred, and it's going to be a big one. Is there a plan, a shindig, or some kind of a party going to be happening, maybe at the Calhoun? I don't know.
It would be nice. I should have some kind of show situation because I got nothing else planned for my 50th birthday. So as it stands, I'd probably be sitting with my kids doing nothing. So I will tell you this, is I probably should quickly put something together. I'll get Radzik on the case. He'll be up for it. And
each of us from YouTube will bring a dove to release in honor.
Oh, thank you. And hopefully some of them die, so it will be quite a scene. But Benjamin, thank you for knowing my birthday. And,
what is it again?
My birthday
is
on the 16th of January.
Oh, that's right, the tornado day. Okay.
You are a good enough friend that you put together Fred's bed for him. You don't know his birthday.
No, because I'm a grown man and I don't care about my male friend's birthday.
And I really don't care.
Planned a party? Come on.
This is the first birthday I didn't want to happen, is the 50th. And I think it's because I'm not married anymore, and it will take me out of the algorithm for younger women on the dating apps.
All right, last thing. We're so late. 12's going to kill us.
No,
Roach,
you didn't care. It's my last day.
Dan Roach, just checked in with the station again. They flew a chopper over the area where the golf balls were on the road, but by then there was nothing to be found. So, Pro V1s are like gold. They must have been picked up rather quickly.
Right, by people who had the guts and balls to do it.
They got the chopper. Oh, God, if I had a chopper guy's text relationship going.
Bill Burr flies a chopper.
Yeah, but is he going to be able to, get up in the air quickly and go scout an area for me?
Oh, I thought you just wanted to go for a ride.
No.
He'd take you for a ride. He would. Bill Burr would take you on a ride in a helicopter.
All right.
Next time we have him on, you can ask him. All right, Dave Richard is going to join us in just a moment. fantasy football guru at CBS Sports. There are 3 ways to link up with Dave Richard and his fantasy football advice on X at Dave Richard. Oh, this is ME330.
Yes, it is.
Live on YouTube every morning by searching Fantasy Football Today, and 3 times per week on Fantasy Football Today on CBS Sports Network. Check the local listings. Dave joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hi, Dave.
What's going on, Fred? How are you feeling this week with the fantasy playoffs finally including you?
I am. I had the bye last week, and
Right.
my matchup is no joke. The guy, once he fixes an issue he has on his roster, is going to be the favorite going in. But Kenneth Walker III is my one question. He's been inactive the last 2 weeks. I'm kind of dependent on him playing.
Yeah, that could be a problem because we don't know if he's going to play. There is a whole gambit of outcomes here. Number one, he could play along with Zach Charbonnet. That means
He's hurt too, though, right? Charbonnet's hurt
I was
too.
getting there. They both missed practice on Wednesday. We're not sure if it's going to be both of them playing, one of them playing, or neither of them playing. This is one you got to pay attention to. The only way I'd feel really good about Walker is if Charbonnet is out. Otherwise, I'm not sure if Walker's going to get his usual workload. Charbonnet's been pretty good for Seattle these past few weeks.
Okay, so then I'll need a running back because the only guy I have to back him up is hurt. So I don't have anyone. I mean, I have like Isaiah Davis because I knew he would score a touchdown when I was desperate.
Right.
So
and I don't know if you can count on him to do
that's
that
not going to
this
happen.
week.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could, but I wouldn't count on it. So
Well,
you've got to go to
Davis.
your waiver wire and look for Jerome Ford would be the priority. Kendre Miller, if there's no Alvin Kamara in New Orleans, would be a good option as well. Otherwise, you're looking at Raiders running backs. Alexander Madison, if the game script goes the way I think it will, he should have more touches than Amir Abdullah this week. And if those guys are taken, look for Tyjae Spears, look for Tank Bigsby, or you could always roll the dice on someone like Justice Hill, Ty Johnson, Ray Davis, maybe Roshan Johnson in Chicago. Looks like he's got a chance to be back this week.
But Kendre Miller is the one you like the most.
Well, if you can't get Jerome Ford, Kendre Miller would be second best.
All right, I got him.
You can dump Isaiah Davis and get Kendre Miller.
Yeah, I didn't have to dump anyone. My team is I don't got to dump nothing. I didn't even have a full team because I've been riding high. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, but you play Kendre Miller above Kenneth Walker III, even if Kenneth Walker III plays.
No, it's got to be Walker and Charbonnet playing, and in that case, I think I'd go with Kendre Miller. But and listen, we're not going to know because that's a Monday night game. If Kamara is questionable, then I think you've got to just take the safer path, which would be Walker. If Walker plays, you got a lot of balls juggling right now, Fred.
So
you just kind of have to let it all play out. Don't try and set your lineup today.
No, but you would play. Well, the good thing about the waiver wire is that no one's on it. So the thing is so you would play Kendre Miller above Kenneth Walker III if both Kenneth Walker III and his backup are playing.
I think I would. Don't hold me to it.
All right, you'll have to let me know. I do need your advice.
Happy to do it. How do I let you know? Do I like?
You don't have. You have my phone number.
I do. Okay.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Do you know his birthday?
It's 617-301. Just Google it. It's on there somewhere.
Dave, I have a very self-serving kind of overall question.
Adam, give him my telephone number post haste. Send him my contact just in case he doesn't. We've texted before, but go ahead.
After the segment.
No, you do it right now. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Kind of a self-serving question as a Lions fan, but you could relate it, I guess, a little bit to fantasy in terms of their defense. We know that they're banged up. I'm just curious because you watch all the games, you watch all these teams, you have a good overall view of the league. How bad is their defense? And with the injuries compounding it, how bad a shape are they in? Figuratively limping to the end of the regular season and heading into the postseason?
I would be concerned, Hardy. I think Alim McNeil being out is a huge problem. This is a linchpin of their defensive line and certainly of their run defense.
Yeah.
Tack that on with the linebackers who have been out. And obviously Aiden Hutchinson, listen, it took them a couple of weeks, but even without Aiden Hutchinson, that defense was hot.
Yeah.
Now I'm not so sure. And so the secondary had always been kind of problematic. Terrion Arnold wasn't the slam dunk that I thought he might be. I thought he was a good fit for that defense, but he really hasn't played great. Carlton Davis is now hurt. He's lost for the season. This is going to be a tough spot. It's going to make it a little bit easier for running backs to run on them, a little bit easier for quarterbacks to have that extra second of time, and they might be able to draw more penalties or win contested catches because of the shape of the secondary right now. There could be a game, and I'm looking at their schedule for the rest of the season. It's Chicago this week, and then after that, it's San Francisco and Minnesota. I wouldn't be surprised if they only win one of those 3 games.
Okay.
And bobble the division, and Minnesota ends up winning the division.
But they are getting guys back. They're not getting McNeil or the cornerback.
Right, and Hutchinson
would be back at the Super Bowl.
Mid-January at the earliest.
Right, but they are getting guys back. They're getting their linebackers back.
Well, sure. Anzalone.
Yeah, they're going to get Anzalone. I think Martinez is coming back at some point. Someone's coming back this week.
I'm looking at their injury report right now, and Branch is on it. He didn't practice with a calf injury. That would be another humongous problem for them. Zadarius Smith, DJ Reader, they need those guys. I think they'll play. And then obviously if Anzalone's back.
Anzalone might come back this week.
I'm not sure if he is or not.
Yeah, I don't think he will this week.
I'll look while we're talking.
All right, very good. Because I am curious who's coming back on that defense, because there's no way all those dudes are out for the season.
He broke his arm a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, because there's no way all those dudes are gone for the entire season.
I wouldn't think.
No, I mean, you don't have like 18 injuries on defense and they're all for the season. By the way, David Montgomery was at a charity event yesterday, Class Act, getting coats for the Detroit community. And he's not so positive that he's out for the season. He's getting.
I thought he was ruled out. For the season really quickly, and not by Campbell, at least in the post game when.
No, and Campbell said this is good news. Campbell said it's good news, and Montgomery said he's getting a third opinion, which, with Campbell's comments, leads to believe that the first opinion was he was out for the year. The second opinion, he was not, and so that this third opinion will be what it hinges on. So
it's the rubber opinion, if you will.
It is. It's where the rubber meets the road.
Good.
And we're having fun. Do you think that Gerard Mayo is a bad coach?
Definitely not. I think he's. Listen, I'm not in the locker room. I don't know if the players are responding to him the way that he wants. But as long as they are, if they are, then I'd be comfortable having him coach the Patriots again. Yes, there have been some bonehead decisions, and yeah, you've got questions about the direction of the defense. But I think the succession plan was done for a reason, and I think Gerard Mayo deserves at least one more year to see if he can upturn this thing around. And he would have the benefit of getting Drake May in his second season. There have been flashes from Drake May looking like the type of promising young quarterback that a lot of franchises in this league wish they had. So if he's got a young quarterback and he can build on the defense that he's got, I think Gerard Mayo can be okay. So I would hang on to him if I were Robert Kraft.
Okay, if you could hire any coach in this coaching cycle that's going to be available, who would you take?
I think I would start with Aaron Glenn in Detroit just because of how he's done with all the injuries. Like, it literally took last week and Josh Allen. It took the MVP of the league this year to tear apart a defense that's been ravaged by injuries all season long. And so for Aaron Glenn to kind of guide that through, I think he could almost work with any capable team right now and then build on that, kind of like what I said with Mayo, where you get the chance to build. And I just think he's clever enough and aggressive enough to make a good defense better. I think he can be a bit of a force multiplier. Ben Johnson's going to be another very popular name. He should be able to write his own ticket for wherever he wants to go and ask for a ton of money. My guess is that Jacksonville would be the place he would choose. But Detroit's got both the top candidates, I would say.
Yeah.
You can look at Joe Brady in Buffalo. And honestly, like, I know that it's not cool to name old guys as possible head coaches, but what Todd Monken's been doing in Baltimore, what Steve Spagnuolo's been doing in Kansas City, I don't know why a general or an owner rather wouldn't call those guys up and at bare minimum pick their brain on what they're doing and how they could go about building up a team, because I think that they're very talented guys at what they do. They're just not in their 30s. And I know right now that everybody looks for coaches that are in their 30s, or in the case of Aaron Glenn, in their 40s, somebody who's young that the team can build around long term. But in the NFL, there is no long term. So if you can find a coach that knows what he's doing, who cares if he's 60 or 65?
Yeah.
Get him in there. Let him bring his AARP card and his walker, and let him go to get his early bird dinner. But man, if he can coach, let him coach.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn, I think, is going to coach the Jets. I think that he is, with his connections there, I think that's what they want. And I think that's what they'll do, even though there's very damning piece out in The Athletic right now about Woody Johnson.
Yes.
How much of that do you believe?
Glenn's bad rating.
Well, do you believe that? The story is that Woody Johnson told Joe Douglas not to trade for Jerry Jeudy because of his Madden rating. Do you believe that?
I've heard enough about Woody Johnson to believe almost anything.
What's the worst thing you've heard about him?
No.
Okay.
Not now.
All right. Because some of the things he's said, I think, were justified. But if I owned the team, I would have said the same thing. Like this idea that he said, "Oh, I want to bench your. Why are you guys not benching Aaron Rodgers?" I'd say the same thing if I was in there at that time. I would have gone, "What's going on? Why does he suck so bad?" I would have done the same thing if I was doing it.
It's a different. You can ask why he sucks, but you shouldn't ask why aren't we benching him. I mean, you've got to live with the decisions that you make.
Right, but he didn't force them.
Capital.
Yeah, he didn't force them he didn't force them to bench him. He was just saying, "Have you considered benching him?" Which I would have done too. I would have gone, "Have you considered it?" And if they said no, I go, "Okay."
Yeah. Okay. That's what they said.
Yeah, but they're acting like he did this unbelievably stupid thing. Well, Aaron Rodgers has sucked until the last couple of weeks. All right, Dave. Listen, this is it. This is it for the season.
No, it's crazy.
It's gone by too fast.
I would call it a successful season.
I would say it's gone by just the right amount of time.
Yeah, that's what Dave's saying. That's what you say, Dave's saying. How dare you? Well, listen, Dave, we always appreciate it. We love having you on as a guest. I would have you on as a guest outside of if you'd want to come on during the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, just to talk football.
Just to talk football. You're more than welcome. I don't know if you want to.
As long as I can find out who I need to know how you do in your leagues, and then whenever you want to talk about anything, let me know. We talked when I was at the Senior Bowl last year, did we not?
Yes. So if you're willing to come on during the rest of the football season, I'd love to have you on. It wouldn't even be about fantasy, but that's up to you.
That's fine.
That's
Happy
up to
do
you.
it. I love talking to you, Fred.
Well, Dave, I love
talking to Hardy and Wallach.
I appreciate that.
Well, Wallach's not even here today, but who would know? He's such a non-talent. All right, Dave, listen. Everyone loves looking at Dave, at Dave Richard on Twitter and the YouTube every morning on Fantasy Football Today, the CBS Sports Network. Thank you, Dave.
All right. This isn't goodbye then. I love it.
No. Let's keep going. Let's keep it going. All right, Dave. Thank you.
All right, guys. I will talk to you down the line. Fred, good luck in your leagues. Everybody, good luck in your leagues.
Yeah, Adam's going to give you my number in case you don't have it anymore.
Totally fine.
All right, great. Fantastic. Well, it's fine. He's going to give you my number. I mean, I'm not asking for yours.
I will text you as soon as he gives it to me.
All right. Thank you, Dave. All right.
Yes.
We will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines. what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
Ew. Boo.
I gotta do this one. It's a crowd pleaser.
Boo.
I'm not a fan of it either.
Or Dutcher and Hardy, FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Be listening at the end of this segment for your chance to score a $50 gift card and a pair of tubing passes for Neshoba Valley Ski Area skiing, tubing, dining, dancing, and celebrating by the fireplace at Boston's own Winter Playland, Neshoba Valley Ski Area in Westford. Get your gift cards for the holidays at skineshoba.com. All right. Here we go. This is a song. I don't know anything about it. What's going on here?
Well, it's a song that you've enjoyed in the past. So it's one I guess we thought we would treat you with the update. And is it the very first one here, Ryan? The very first song here? This is the original one?
I have it in Vox Pro.
This is the original here.
Yeah, we fat.
Okay, there's a million things that this is the worst popular song of all time. I'll explain why. It's exceptionally racist. It's his like kind of black voice. And I don't understand in country music. It's getting better. It's kind of over. This might have been the breaking point. Is that there is a hip hop element, like a real bad hip hop element to country music. Like we like rap except for blacks. But now that's kind of changed because like the Shabuzi guy and everything, and God bless Shabuzi because he saw the opening. And I told my own audience, you heard it with your own ears, that Post Malone was going to be a country artist. I told you that Machine Gun Kelly was going to be a country artist because they're following in the path of Kid Rock. Being a white rapper is very difficult unless you're exceptionally talented. Unless you're Eminem, basically. Yeah, this guy is the worst. He's a piece of crap. This song sucks, by the way. I don't even get like a hook in this. And by the way, all you girls that like think that this is like cute, you would be furious with this guy. Listen, he's singing like he's in TLC. Oh, I hope he gets hit by a bus. Well, he has. You'll never hear from him again. What is this? What am I playing now?
It's the Christmas version.
Oh, Jesus.
It's him?
Why don't you give it a listen?
Well, at least he knows it's over. At least he knows it's over. By doing this, he's accepting the fact that he's the pet rock of music. He's Disco Duck. At least that guy at a radio show, Rick Dees. All right, here we go. Steve Craig with the sleigh bells. He just added Christmas bells.
Precisely.
What a piece of garbage. But at least he knows, right? And he talks about it. He's like, it was the weirdest thing. He's like, I was in a room with all these writers and, we just came up with it. Wow, that is weird. Like you went into the office and a bunch of people wrote this garbage song for you.
You went into one of the many Nashville music factories and churned out a steaming pile of crap.
Which you knew Applebee's would latch onto, and then you licensed to them, thereby like selling your soul and all credibility for all time. It's the exact same song, but with Christmas bells. Why is he talking like that?
Peppermint mocha in my latte. Now he's trying to sell it to Starbucks or some horrible.
Good call.
Yep.
Excellent call. And why is he talking like this? How does that not bother everyone?
It doesn't bother me because I understand it. He explained it to me. Christmas is back, y'all. Bells in the track, y'all. So that explains why there's sleigh bells in the song this time. I don't mind it because I understand.
See, he's saying,
you don't understand.
He's saying y'all like a country guy, not like a black. That would make it intolerable. He's doing it in a nice black enough voice.
But not
but just like your friend comes up to you and says going like this, you'd slap him.
He sounds black, but not too black.
Yeah, like one of the good ones, like one of the ones like you keep around, like the Yeah,
that's my trigger phrase.
Yes, I know it is.
One of the good
like a real helpful one.
Smart ones.
That's like what my grandma used to say. And you know what? He's perfectly intelligent. Like a normal fella. Like a normal.
Well spoken.
Oh, well, that's I hear people around here say that. John Naylor's quite well spoken.
Yeah, the people around here, they may not be here today, but
yeah, exactly. And you're like, all right, dude, you should know better. And it's not even censoring yourself from saying it. Like, I don't want to white knight for minorities, but they're really, and I think there's obviously stuff that's funny that's incredibly inappropriate and not suitable for the air. Which I say, but I'll tell you this: like, you shouldn't even be thinking well spoken at this day and time. Like, that's bad. Like it's bad to think it. Like, you got to start rethinking the way that you think about black people, because you're saying most aren't. This one is. Like, they're not human. You're dehumanizing them. Anyway, this is what this guy is essentially doing. He's just saying things in a house, but fake tree because they don't have enough money to really shell out for the real tree.
He may have been taking a look inside your house, Fred. You have the fake tree. Do you have a nutcracker on the mantle?
I don't, but I did at my old place, so he could be combining the two homes.
Right.
Really
it's kind of like a composite character.
Yeah, which makes me like the song because I can relate to it.
Now you understand it, so you like it.
Yeah, he's just naming things.
Scott Zolak, F. Fred, great song. Why is this racist?
It's racist because he's putting on what is perceivably a black voice, and
cater to an audience that otherwise wouldn't tolerate it.
Yes, and that's exactly what's going on. They toyed with the way he was going to phrase things. Of course they did. They went into a Nashville studio and they toyed around with how he was going to phrase things. They absolutely did, and they settled on this, which sounds like a female black R&B singer, like the way that they phrased 30 years ago.
What's your fruitcake? Go Jesus, it's your birthday.
All right, now I'm done.
We gotta end it now.
Oh, it's Jesus' birthday.
And he goes a 50 Cent song because it's old enough not to be like with the current black.
Did you know that artist Walker Hayes? That's not his real name.
Oh,
he doesn't have a country-ass sounding name.
It's Saul. It's Saul Rabinowitz. He, by the way, Walker Texas Ranger is probably why he calls himself Walker, and that's not a joke. That will call into mind fond things for people. Caller number 10 to the contest line 617-931-0985 will score a $50 gift card and a pair of tubing passes for Neshoba Valley Ski Area. Skiing, tubing, dining, dancing, and celebrating by the fireplace at Boston's own Winter Playland, the Neshoba Valley Ski Area in Westford. Get your gift cards for the holidays at neshobaski.com. By the way, real quick, because I know this won't happen in the new year, all this crap, I swear to God. But Scott's very hot on me calling Wallach a no talent when he was mentioned by Dave Richard. He's trying to make that like a real thing.
Oh, well.
He's pushing that around.
Far be it from Zoe to stir up trouble.
I mean, he's actively stirring it up right now. Like, all right, dude. I love Scott, but come on. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening. FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Celtics and Bruins in action tonight. We start with the C's, who host the Bulls at the Garden. Kristaps Porzingis questionable after leaving Sunday's win with right heel pain. Sam Hauser also questionable with a sore back. 7 o'clock pregame tonight with Grandy and Max on WROR. That's because the Bruins are on the Sports Hub tonight as they wrap up their trip out west. In Edmonton, 8:30 pregame, 9 o'clock puck drop with RJ and Bob here on the Sports Hub. Patriots will practice again today as they get ready for the Bills on Sunday. Kyle Duggar, JaMychal Hasty, Marcus Jones all missing from yesterday's session. Patriots signed wide receiver Alex Erickson to the practice squad yesterday. Big Thursday nighter tonight, Broncos and Chargers with the playoff implications in the AFC. And yesterday, Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado rejected a trade to Houston. According to reports, Red Sox still considered one of his potential landing spots. Headlines are brought to you by the perfect holiday gift, 99 restaurant gift cards. They're the perfect gift for everyone on your list. For every $25 you purchase, receive a $5 bonus card for yourself. You gotta love the nines. I'm Matt McCarthy. Your next update, 30 minutes.
When sports news breaks in Boston.
Officially from the Boston Bruins.
It breaks here.
Boston Bruins general manager Don Sweeney announced today, November 19th, the team has relieved Jim Montgomery of his duties as head coach.
For the latest updates.
Associate coach Joe Sacco will assume interim head coaching duties.
And the analysis.
To me, this isn't enough. I think they got to shake up the locker room.
Stay right here.
We'll see how this goes.
Boston's home for breaking sports news. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday morning.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Sports Hub.
Oh, there's Adam Skankin in the back. What fun.
I need some time.
Yeah.
Time off.
You need a little time off. We're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And congratulations to Nolan Arenado, making things even more difficult for the Cardinals to dump him. Why did he doesn't want to go to Houston? I have no idea. If he's turning down, God, he's insufferable in some ways. I love him and hate him. He wanted so out of Colorado, and then because they weren't winning, he goes to St. Louis. Then they're not winning, and they're reshuffling. They're rebuilding because Chaim Bloom is going to be their GM next year.
Have fun with that, Fred, by the way. I hope you enjoy it.
It's kind of the way business has been done there for a while. Like, he's kind of fine for that organization. It's not it's not Boston. And so, I don't know where he wants to go now. If he wants to go to a winner, Houston's a winner. They're a perennial winner. That's a big market. So is it geographic now? Maybe, does he want to even come to Boston? Why would he want to come to Boston if he doesn't want to go to Houston?
Well, that's my thought. I mean, does he want to go to the Yankees? Where does he want to end up? Well, he really wants to go to the Dodgers. So is he trying to force a trade to the Dodgers?
Well, I got news for you. The Cardinals keep him. They're not going to trade. They are not going to. This is a fact. They are not going to trade him just to trade him. They're not. They told him that. And if he's going to, and he obviously knows that if he's invoking the no trade clause, that he might have to play in St. Louis next year, and he's going to be playing in front of nobody with a bunch of kids that are literally auditioning to be Major League Baseball players, which I can live with. Look, this is where they're at. Now, the Cardinals have not done this in my lifetime. Just completely said that we're tanking a year. They've never done it in my lifetime. But look, the Goldschmidt had to go. Arenado's got to go. They got to get rid of these guys.
Don't worry, Fred. It won't be just 1 year. It'll be the 5-year Chaim Bloom rebuild plan, and by the end of it, you'll be miserable. So have fun with it.
They will, if they can stock that system. It's already not bad. They'll start trading for people. That's how they'll operate.
Not with that guy, Fred. Not with that guy. Don't say I didn't warn you.
The marching orders are going to be different in St. Louis. They need gate. They need people to come to the park, and they don't automatically come. So there will be pressure on them to win. They have to start winning. I'm telling you, dude, he's going to get fired then, because if they need 3 million people a year to come into that park. They need it. They've lost money. They're losing revenue. They're not losing money, but the local TV deals, because of the streaming garbage, keep getting lower and lower. They depend on gate. and they are not selling out. And if they don't sell out, they can't do anything. So they got a year of this, and then they got to at least be competitive. And that's not an impossible division. I mean, they just got to be competitive against Milwaukee, Pittsburgh. I mean, it's not too tough. Cincinnati. I mean, come on. All right, Phil Perry is here. He covers the Patriots for NBC Sports Boston. He's live in studio this morning. Phil, hello.
Good morning.
You have any thoughts on Nolan Arenado?
No, but I actually am curious about another one of your teams, Fred, if we could just pepper you with the future of your different franchises across sports. Is it true? Did I see Rich Cimini say something yesterday about Garrett Wilson? Did you see this?
Garrett Wilson it's been thought that Garrett Wilson is fed up with the losing and could want out of New York. But the thing is, New York has his rights for the next 2 years, so I don't really know what he can do about it.
Is that because one's the fourth year and then one's the fifth year option?
Yeah. They have a fifth-year option because he's a first-round pick.
Would you trade him, though, for, say, the third overall pick?
No.
He's the one guy that Fred
I would not.
ever wants
I
to.
wouldn't trade Quinnen or Quincy Williams, and I wouldn't trade Garrett Wilson.
Oh, come on. You would trade Quincy Williams for something.
Quincy Williams? I said Wilson. Quincy Williams, yeah, for something.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what they could go for. Like, I wouldn't trade Quinnen Williams for a first-round pick, and I wouldn't trade Quincy Williams for I don't think I'd trade him for a mid to late second round.
Okay, how about Garrett Wilson for the third overall pick from the New England Patriots?
No, because why would I want Travis Hunter over Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson better receiver than
because he's a two-way player. He'd give you a little something of both. Give you a good corner finally because Sauce Gardner apparently is not good anymore.
No, Sauce Gardner is not good anymore. No, he's not. He refuses to tackle. It's a bit of an issue. That's got to be embarrassing even for a pro. If you refuse to tackle and they're breaking down film and you're not tackling, that you got to get some crap from your teammates.
Was he always like that, though?
No.
I think it's just because they suck this year. I bet if they're good
they
again,
didn't suck in the beginning of the year and he wasn't tackling.
Maybe he's waiting for that contract. Has he been paid yet?
No, he's the same draft as Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
All right, so look, if you draft Travis Hunter, which the Patriots would probably right now if at 3, because quarterbacks go 1-2. So if they're at 3, do you play him both? Can a player play both ways full time in the NFL?
I've talked about this with a few NFL people over the course of the last week or so. No one I've spoken to thinks he could do it full time. What they say is it sounds like he's going to be better at corner.
Oh, okay.
So they would play him at corner and have him kind of moonlight at receiver, a little bit kind of, like Marcus Jones does.
Interesting and that makes more sense actually to be like a gadget guy. But it's interesting because I believe in the middle of the season it was believed that he'd be a better receiver than corner.
I think he could be an excellent receiver. I think he could be Garrett Wilson-esque. He's sort of that same kind of build, and I think he's an incredible athlete.
He's as tall as Garrett?
I think he's about 6 feet.
Oh, okay, because Garrett Wilson is a little taller than that. I just love Garrett Wilson.
I love him too. I love him too. And if I was the Patriots, I would. If the Jets were open to it, I know Fred's not, but if the Jets were open to it, I would seriously consider trading.
If I was the Patriots, I'd trade the third pick for Garrett Wilson
and then pay him.
Yeah, and then I'd pay him. Yeah, absolutely. He's only his third year. Here's also, if you're interested, there's an article in the Athletic about the Jets and how Woody Johnson's teenage sons are dictating his personnel moves based on people's Madden ratings. And then I don't believe it's true. And then the guys that cover the NFL are like, that doesn't sound outrageous. I do stand by Woody Johnson coming into the locker room and asking why they weren't benching Aaron Rodgers, because I would have done the exact same thing. Well, you shouldn't go in there and ask things. BS. I own the team. Of course, I'm going to go in and ask questions. I own the team. I'm a fan. And if Saleh was sitting in front of me, I would go, did you think about benching Rodgers? I like that. That's just so outrageous on a 4-win team. That he's a Hall of Famer. All right. Well, if I'm paying him, be a Hall of Famer now. Don't be great. You were a Hall of Famer before. They paid you for that. I'm paying you now for this.
In some ways, that may be the most admirable thing that Woody Johnson's ever done as owner, because you would think, as the owner, Fred, the owner might be the last guy to say, let's bench this guy that I paid all this money to. We lost an entire season of him last year. Now he's only played 3 games. I paid him whatever in terms of guaranteed money, some ungodly amount of guaranteed money, and I'm willing to bench him. Aren't you guys, the coaches? Aren't you willing to maybe even think about it or talk about it?
I don't know this for a fact. He didn't tell me this was where it came from. But let's just say, because I'm almost positive, that Saleh and Douglas talked to Burt Breer after it's over. And they're like incredulous about these things that can you believe this clown? And some of them I'm thinking, dude, you work for the guy. He's going to ask you questions. I know that it's short of demanding benching of players. If I'm an owner, I'm asking questions. Why can't you ask a question? Demanding something is different. But if you have an employee and the thing's not working, of course I'd ask why. And he's a trust fund lucky sperm guy. He hasn't done anything. He's probably pretty dumb. Like, all of that is probably very frustrating. But I'll tell you, I wonder if by giving out the area code and first 3 digits of my phone number, people have figured it out.
You're getting strange calls now?
Yeah, that's for a change. Because it's usually so much. All right, look, speaking of ownership, wonderful segue, Fred.
Nice job.
Because you won't hear about this anymore this year. Is Gerard Mayo job safe? It's now being reported that his job is safe. What is your feeling? What is your read? You talk to everyone.
Yeah. My feeling is that his job is safe. Now, did he cover himself in glory after the game the other day or during the game against the Arizona Cardinals? I would say no. But indications that I had been given prior to that game was that it was going to take something really unprecedented and unexpected for the Crafts to even really seriously consider it. So he's going to get a second year, in my opinion. And the question to me really is more about how does the rest of the staff look around him? Because in the last 2 days, I've talked to different people with different teams that are watching this situation from afar. And we talk about Alex Van Pelt because Mayo had the comment when I asked him the question about using Drake May's legs down near the goal line. He's pretty athletic, Gerard. I don't know. Hey, you said it, not me. And then you have ownership up in the box during the games criticizing the play calling. Even, Drake May did it in a very polite way. But, questioning the play calling to some degree, saying, yeah, hey, I'm a pretty big dude, pretty hard to stop me. I'm heavier than people think for 1 yard, like I was pretty good at it in college. I don't know.
And I don't understand how that would be the play he got hurt on. Like a 1 yard,
I don't think
a 1 yard getting low and just going, how is that going to injure his head?
I don't think injury is the consideration.
Really?
Yeah, no. Unless Alex Van Pelt just feels deep within his soul that he can't possibly.
I thought
risk
that
this
was
guy
the whole
long-term.
thing.
No. So what happened it was initially.
Yeah,
you're right. He gets concussed, allegedly against the Jets. I think even Drake May might push back against that a little bit, but he gets concussed. He has to miss time, and they tell people like me who have been asking about it incessantly. This has been my own little mini beat within the beat the last couple of months. Why are you not using this guy's legs? This is clearly one of his strengths. This is clearly something that's very difficult to defend. I've had coaches on other teams who the Patriots have played this year tell me prior to games, prior to facing them, thank God they don't use Drake May in the design quarterback run game. Because that bleep is really hard to defend. And I don't know why they don't do it, but they don't do it. And we are so incredibly grateful for that. And so alarm bells are going off in my head week after week after week the more I hear stuff like this. And so I continue to ask about it. It has evolved. Since right after that Jets game, they said he scrambles around enough. We want to protect him. He's going to take his fair share of hits just because of the way he plays the game. We're not going to design any more tackles and bake him into his stat line anymore.
The way the rest of our offense is constructed, he's going to take
He's going to take punishment. Why would we design a play where the end outcome is more likely that he's going to take even more punishment? Got it.
Well, you're allowed to slide. Go ahead.
You are allowed to slide. You're allowed to run out of bounds. You're allowed to do all sorts of things to protect yourself.
I would argue a blindside hit of a bad bad left tackle, it might hurt more.
Might be worse.
Sliding.
So they have evolved in their approach, though, Fred, over the last few weeks since he's cleared concussion protocol. Both May, Van Pelt, and even Mayo have all said these plays are in our game plans. We're going to use them. We are going to use the design quarterback run game. And so when they don't, in a moment like that one, that question to me is obvious. And so I wonder if it has irked maybe Mayo to some degree. Maybe that's why he makes the comment he makes after the game, where he's not trying to really stir it up. He really isn't, is my understanding. But there's just something deep within him that's saying to himself, we talk about this every week. Using, whether it's a quarterback sneak or a zone read, he ran a touchdown on a zone read quarterback design run during the preseason. It's the last time we've seen him have one. He hasn't had a single designed run in his time with the Patriots in a regular season game to this point. So I think that might be a source of frustration with ownership potentially. And so I wonder if he's going to be back next year, quite frankly.
All right, let's talk about who they would and what they need to do in terms of, because it looks like they're keeping Mayo. Let's hear about what your opinions are. I have my own. I'm sure everyone in here has an opinion. And if you replace Van Pelt, if you're redoing the coaching staff outside of the head coach, what needs to be done? We'll continue with Phil Perry in just a moment.
You're listening.
a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Phil Perry from NBC Sports Boston is here. By the way, Brian Callahan, the coach of the Tennessee Titans, was asked about if his team was soft, and he got the message about what the fallback is if you don't, and he used expletives. Oh, did he swear while defending his team? And so I'm sure that will be played a lot today. For good reason. It's a good rant. But I'll tell you, he said that if you are watching that tape and don't think that team is tough, you know what the F you're talking about.
Oh, he was very
BS.
upset, yeah.
But he didn't say BS. He said the whole thing. Bull, you know
Shivers.
what.
You thought I said it.
I thought we were about to get fired because of you saying that.
I know when to pull it back, buddy. Don't you worry about me.
You are a pro. All right, Phil. We talked about it. Like, Gerard Mayo looks like he's staying. Alex Van Pelt's probably gone. They might just revamp the whole coaching situation around him. What helps Gerard Mayo the most? If you're president of the organization and you're keeping Mayo, but you need to support him, what are you doing? What are you looking for?
So the way it's been described to me by people that are in these types of situations in the league is that to them, it looks like there are two options for the Patriots. One would be blow everybody out, Mayo included, and start fresh and give them a timeline, and whether it's Vrabel and McDaniels or Vrabel and Dayball or head coach X and one of those two guys is your offensive coordinator, that would be option one. Option two would be, and this is what I find interesting, because there's not a lot of people out there that say, well, just blow out the coordinator and start fresh with the coordinator. Option two for these people is keep all three primary coaches, head coach, offense, defensive coordinators, and then swap out a bunch of the what look like really, I won't use the word that they have used, which has been negligent, and I will say
very racist.
people that are underperforming in those assistant coach roles, and blow those guys out, sub them in, get better talent, and hope that the entire operation works better next year. The reason why they would say don't fire Van Pelt is because, number one, he's apparently done a pretty good job with the rookie quarterback. Number two, looking at this job from afar with a staff that has not established itself and that could very well be on the hot seat firmly, like middle of next season, the argument that has been presented to me is there aren't a whole lot of really good offensive coordinators that are going to want this job.
Okay, but what if you said, all right, we put Gerard Mayo in this job too quickly. He doesn't have enough coaching experience. He doesn't know how to be the CEO of a bunch of people. What if we took a guy with head coaching experience who's had success, not Mike Vrabel, but like I use the example of Peterson, and he's going to get blown out by the Jaguars. So you bring in Peterson and you make him like an assistant head coach. Look, he doesn't care. He's not getting another head coaching job. You pay him a lot of money. He can help Gerard Mayo not only with game planning, but he knows how a team is run. He knows how to manage. So you bring someone like that in as like as an assistant coach, coordinator, advisory role almost. I think that's what helps him the most. That's like basically a mentor for Mayo to lean on. Any questions he has, he's like, yeah, I won a Super Bowl. He can lean on him in that kind of situation.
So somebody like Ben McAdoo, but someone who's had more success than Ben McAdoo.
Everyone brings Ben McAdoo up. Ben McAdoo didn't win a Super Bowl. Like, and it wasn't. When was the last time he was a head coach?
No, I get what you're saying.
Like a guy who's basically Peterson and McCarthy.
Okay, so the idea of bringing in a veteran that can help him kind of like
a guy who's not really a head coaching candidate and has nothing to prove, and bring him in who wants to make money and keep his foot in the league.
Okay. Can I answer your question with another question? Would you give that guy decision-making power in the organization?
As in the coordinator role, yes. But I would make him in a coordinator role. I would give him But it would.
So he'd be offensive coordinator and he'd be assistant head coach.
He would be an offensive coordinator, but beyond that, he would get paid a lot of money, and beyond that, he would, if he wants the title of assistant head coach, who cares? He's probably not going to care. But you'd bring him in and you'd pay him like a guy who's going to be a consigliere. Is that the term?
Consigliere.
Consigliere of to Gerard Mayo. That, if I was Gerard Mayo, that's what I'd want. I'd want a guy who has no chance of taking my job, who also has, I can ask, all right, man, I'm in over my head. Because there have been. And I'm not talking about even on the sidelines. I'm talking about being at the top of an organization. He doesn't know how to do it.
Can we just swap out Doug Peterson for Brian Daboll?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer Brian Daboll, but Brian Daboll, I think, has a chance of being a head coach again. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
But then that speaks to the other issue. It's like, okay, you want to bring in somebody who has no chance of taking the job. Brian Daboll would be a guy that would seemingly be the guy in waiting.
Right. Exactly. So I wouldn't bring in Daboll. I think Daboll, I almost am positive Daboll would get another coaching job if the Giants fire him. Not maybe this cycle, but he'd get one. And he's got connections with the Patriots, and that would be a problem. Like, Peterson's not becoming the coach of the Patriots.
But then is he helping in the way that you want him to help? Like, you're bringing in a failed head coach with a guy who had a franchise quarterback.
But he's not a failed head coach.
Amount.
He's a failed head coach for Jacksonville,
Yes.
which has made him not an alluring candidate for a head coaching job. But he won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia.
Sure, he did flame out in Philadelphia, though. So the problem is,
but he's not in charge of your organization. He's perfect. He's had success, but he's not a danger to you. He's not going to usurp you. He has no motivation not to be an incredible help to you. I'll give you an example. It's like bringing in, if you were a team right now and Kirk Cousins is a distressed asset, this isn't going to happen because he makes too much money. But say you brought in Kirk Cousins and you say, look, Kirk Cousins had a lot of success in the NFL. I'm going to bring him in to mentor my quarterback. And even if Kirk Cousins is the starter at the beginning of the season, he's going to be the mentor for the kid that's ultimately going to take over. And when the kid's playing, the kid can lean on him and go and talk to him on the bench and talk to him off the field and find out how he prepared and how he manages things, how to lead a huddle, how to talk to other players, all that stuff.
I think I want to get Doug Peterson just like kind of out of the conversation.
Sure, fine.
Because I think he's sort of
fine. You don't
it.
like him.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't. I think there are a lot of reasons not to. But
okay, very good.
I know what you're saying in terms of giving him that sort of experience, those in-game, real-time decisions that need to be made, and you need to be sharp on, and you need to have reps with in order to be sharp on.
Yes.
I understand that. My thing is, if you really feel like Gerard Mayo needs his hand held in that way, should you not just move on?
Right.
Well, you've committed to him, and you believe. Okay, I'll ask you this: do you believe Gerard Mayo could be a good head coach?
I do.
Okay. Do you believe that he's in over his head?
I think things were going really fast for him for the majority of this year, and probably still are. Yeah.
Okay, that's my point. Is that I know Gerard a little bit too, not anymore, but I did, and I think he could be a quality head coach, but not in the current way it is, and not with a JV offensive coordinator and a JV defensive coordinator. He needs a mind to tap. And he's got a rookie GM. He's got everything around him.
The question is, can you get a desirable person, not Doug Peterson, a desirable person to come in and be your offensive coordinator for an organization that looks like it's headed in the wrong direction with not a lot of talent? Right? Because those people, if they are desirable, they generally speaking have options. And if they come to what they think is a sinking ship, that's not going to be a situation they want to join.
Who's the guy that was coach at Denver that's the big defensive coordinator? He's old. Vic
Fangio.
Fangio. Is Fangio more of an appealing name to you? Like you bring in Fangio and he's never going to take your head coaching job. He's been a head coach. He's you like him as a defensive coordinator.
Sure, yeah.
So he's old. He's not going to get your job. How about Fangio?
Sure. Yeah. I like that idea.
Okay. Why would Fangio not take the job if you paid him more?
So the question to me would be, would Mayo want him because he's going to run a different defense, and Mayo's a defensive head coach?
A lot of good.
Do you have to let that? Do you have to let that go? If you're Mayo, maybe you do. Maybe ownership says, "Hey, I know you're tied to the Bill Belichick scheme, and this has become your scheme, and this is what you know. It's what DeMarcus Covington knows. It's why you hired him." But we got to let it go because we just can't continue on the way we're going right now.
Takes that off his plate.
And you need to focus on just being a head coach.
Yes.
Forget about the defense.
Yeah, it takes it off his plate. It's not ideal as having but maybe then you can take a chance on a kid as your offensive coordinator that's a
young up and comer.
Young up and comer that's
sure.
not like, the number one, you're not going to get, the best offensive
Maybe it's
coordinator.
Nick Caley again. Maybe bring back Nick Caley. He's pass game coordinator for the Rams, and he's young and looking for his first offensive coordinator opportunity.
I'm stuck on all this stuff because whether it's Alex Van Pelt or Gerard Mayo, defensively, I think they should have been a lot better, and I think you can make changes there. But I don't know if any of it is disastrous enough to say, okay, identify this person and this person, the ones that need to go, because so much of it has been hamstrung by the personnel. And I think the overall philosophy of the team, and we've talked about this a lot, I think they should have been a lot more aggressive just in the way they run things on both sides of the ball from the jump this year. Maybe they got a false sense of how good they were.
You have to build a culture
based on what they did against the Bengals in Week 1. But after that, once things started slipping away, said, you know what, we got to go for broke a lot more. We got to do things differently philosophically with this team, especially offensively. And they didn't do it, and they don't have the personnel to pull off whatever it is they're trying to pull off now. But how much of that is really the fault of either Alex Van Pelt or Gerard Mayo?
It's a good
building
question.
a culture.
How disastrous are they as X's and O's guys?
Here's why you need to help Mayo, and then I'll let Phil talk. Is look at Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell came in and they lost and lost and lost. But he had coached before, was considered a buffoon, but they were smarter than that, and they knew he wasn't. And he said, I'm developing a culture. Gerard Mayo has not been a head coach before. He doesn't know how to do it. If you brought a guy, that's why I'm saying, if you brought a guy in who, there's so much more to it than just X's and O's and decisions on the sidelines. We're going to be this kind of team. We're going to have this identity. And if you bring somebody who talk, I know what I would want. And I'm talking to the guy and I'm like, how do I build this culture I want? All right, what do you want to have happen? I want this, and the third. All right, here's how I'm going to help you do it, and here's how you do it.
You could argue that's the primary role for the head coach. When it comes to scheme, coordinators run your scheme.
Right.
That's the job of the coordinators. The head coach is to manage expectations, is to communicate to ownership what the hell's going on out there on the field on a week-to-week basis, and to be the face of your franchise as you're developing your culture.
If the Crafts identify the problem as being how you just laid it out, Fred, that more so than with the schemes and all that, Gerard needs to bring someone in to help him identify the culture.
No,
of the
not
team.
identify, implement the culture.
Implementing
Tardy's question's a good one to me because I think ownership looks at this team and they do say that personnel is the primary issue.
It is,
and it's probably the secondary issue. Like that's the top of the list for them.
How bad is the coaching then?
And so would they be open to one of these two options that I just described, which is you end up just keeping both coordinators. And you're saying, hey, we're going to figure this out together. You're going to be given another shot. You're going to bring in more talent. Because
that will allow you to change the philosophy.
Now, fans would not be happy about that. And
if
we
I'm
know
Mayo, I'm not happy
ownership listens to this station and watches and reads everything, right? And so maybe part of that decision-making process is swayed by what they see and hear over the next month or so. But one thing that has stood out to me over the last 48 hours, talking to some Cardinals people, just this gets to your point about personnel and talent. There have been very few games where the Cardinals have been the more talented team. This is in the opinion of Cardinals people. Very few games over the last few years where they have gone to the field and felt like they're the more talented team. They very clearly felt like and were confident in that they were the more talented team on Sunday. And they looked at the scheme and, listen, I don't know, so I trust people like this who are in these jobs and know a lot more about it than I do. They look at the defensive scheme and say, the scheme's not bad. It's not a horrible scheme. The players suck. Yeah. They might have some of this. And I say, well, wait, they've got Duggars out there and Peppers is out there and Barmore is out there. The players aren't that bad. They have one good player, is what I was told, on the defensive side. And he plays cornerback. Those other guys may have been good players at other times. They're not good players right now.
Just watch them doing fundamentally things wrong. They're missing tackles. And on the offensive side, it's like you can have that, but you have guys dropping balls that are in their hands. You know, you don't have the players. You don't have the horses right now.
And so if that's how ownership feels and they can stick to their guns in that regard, then that might be a good thing for the coaches at the top of the ledger.
Does Wolf go if they feel that way?
I think they're going to give the front office more time to get it right, too.
So
I really do.
Everybody just gets to come back after this, Phil. Is that what you're saying? Everybody gets to come
Aside
back?
from, listen, in this option, this was option 2, I think, of the 2 options I presented.
Yeah.
You do have some assistants that are not going to be here. So
why?
offensive line, receivers, you might have some new people.
So
in
the
there.
personnel fire the
sucks in
GM
Elliott
after
Wolf.
1 year. You can't fire a GM
I know
after
you've
one
been
draft and free
He's
agent.
not good.
He got you Drake May, and he didn't do. What do you want him to do in free agency? You can't fire a GM after 1 year.
You drafted the
That's
third
insane.
quarterback with the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah,
Turns out he might be the best guy,
you
but
know
he
what?
was the 3rd guy.
You know what? 90% of our audience didn't want him to do it. And so it wasn't just this slam dunk that they were going to take Drake May. That's revisionist BS. That's revisionist. There was this whole thing. Marvin Harrison's he's a generational talent. You start with look at how Kansas City does things, and you have to build a team. No. There was no unanimous clamoring for Drake May.
Oh, but that was an ownership directive. You have to take a quarterback there. Like, Wolf had no choice. He took the 3rd
You know
quarterback
that?
and the 3rd pick. That's what I believe.
But based on what?
Based on the fact that they were going to take a quarterback.
If the front office had told ownership that this kid can't play, it's not worth it, then they wouldn't have taken him.
Yeah, I mean, how do you know that the Crabs? I mean, seriously, like, how do you know? Like, did someone tell you that that's what the Crabs did?
I think there's a commonly held belief that the Patriots and Bill Belichick, who was agreed upon that they would be taking Mac Jones because he was a quarterback, it was pretty obvious they needed to take a quarterback. I don't give Elliott Wolf all this credit for taking the 3rd quarterback with the 3rd overall.
I don't give him a lot of credit either. But you
Mac
can't.
Jones was a Bill pick.
But if you oh, fair, that's good.
Oh,
but like
we've reported that before.
Yeah, you have reported that before.
Yeah, people in the room say the Crafts literally said nothing. Like when it came to this is what we need.
Yeah. So anyway, I just don't think. And Phil, then this is it, and then we got to go. But Phil, do you think it's wise to fire a GM after 1 season?
No, I don't.
I just think it's ludicrous. Like it's just you start. Then your organization's like in chaos. Then you're just going like I'm screwing up things. You're not giving him a cycle, like a cycle to
firing a head coach after 1 season is 1 and 1A in terms of things that can undo an organization.
Yes, I agree. I don't think you fire a head coach after 1 season, but it's been done. But a GM, a guy that you put in charge of your organization, you gave him 1 round of free agency and 1 draft.
Bring in a consultant for him too.
I think the people that would push back on that,
Elliott Wolf.
the people that would push back,
you'd want it too.
People that would push back on that would say, well, they have been around since 2021. But I think ownership would say, well, yeah, but this is really our first opportunity to truly evaluate who these guys are.
I don't think Belichick
because Bill's the one who's been making the pick.
I don't think Belichick said, hey, Elliott, like, you're on the clock. Like, let's go. Like, who are you taking? All right, thank you. Phil Perry, have a wonderful – you look Goyam. Have a wonderful Christmas.
Same to you. Appreciate it. Always great to be in here with you guys.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. We appreciate it. And
Thank you.
We will see you in the new year.
It's a good way to end it. You did a good job with that.
You did a fantastic job.
Have a great time in here tomorrow with Rochi Hardy.
Yeah, and Kendra.
Kendra.
You got that going for
good
you.
crew.
All right. We will be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports.
music in the morning. Okay, here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on
Make every moment more with FanDuel. Do you often eat Chipotle?
Every few weeks, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
The difference in different Chipotles
Oh.
is not in the quality of food, but in the efficiency that the places are run.
Yes.
Is quite striking.
You are spot on about this.
Yeah. Because the one here in Waltham is very efficient. The one in Newtonville is very efficient. The one on Needham Street in Newton is it's very, very busy, but it looks like my fraternity. And the people do not care for you, which I can relate to because when I worked at Blimpie, I was no fan of the people and let them know visually and verbally. So I can't hold that against them. But then you go to Press Cafe next door, and that you wouldn't know the height of efficiency. You get yourself into a Press Cafe, there'll be a line of 20 people. You'll go, oh my God, this is going to take all day. You'll be at the counter in 3 minutes. They knock it out there. Maybe not even 3 minutes. And I have no stake in either company.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it. The last one I got, though, you never complain about getting too much food if it's food that you like. They can't even, wrap the burrito, though. There's, so much packed in it.
Because they never make burritos anymore. That's the problem. Is that it's a bowl situation.
So they're
entirely.
using the serving size is predetermined. It's like this much on a spoon. I'm sure there's spec for all this stuff. And whether you get a bowl or a burrito, you're getting this much. And they put all that in the burrito, and it doesn't stay together.
See,
you
that's
can't
an
eat it.
overcompensation because there was the whole thing about Chipotle not giving you
There
the
you
amount
go.
of food that you needed. So
Those
that's the
maniacs on social media started rolling tape on these poor food service workers as they're trying to make food, and you didn't put enough in, so now they're overcompensating.
Fred,
But if you like a trash bin that's been cleaned or cleared, no.
no, that's not.
That's not happening.
I have a Christmas gift for you, Fred, as today is your last day.
Yeah.
And I would like to present this to you.
Okay.
what a good coworker and a good friend.
Yeah.
I got you nothing.
Well,
Should have a
I
little
didn't
holiday
go
music here in the
shopping for you,
background.
but this is something I know you wanted. It's something that I said I would give to you, and now I'm giving it to you.
Okay, what is it? It's like a rain slicker?
What does it say? Find the logo on it.
Is that...
No. Other lapel.
Oh, you got me... Oh, thank you. You got me a Boston Marathon Stolen Valor shirt. I can pretend that I ran the Boston Marathon this year.
It is the the 2024 Boston Marathon Stolen Valor jacket. They gave one to me. They gave one to Wallach.
Wow.
As we were broadcasting live from the starting line. Fred was off that week, taking his daughter on vacation. But I said, yeah, I'd never wear this thing because I didn't run the marathon. And Fred said, give it to me, I'll wear it.
Thank you. I wish my kids still played soccer so I could wear this like every other douchebag that wore it to every soccer game. You ran the marathon, did you? Congratulations. What a life you've led. You should wear more stuff with it on it.
You know, you should get a sticker on the back of your car that would somehow indicate you've run a marathon without saying, hey, I ran the Boston Marathon. What type of sticker would indicate that?
It would just be, you put the miles on there.
Oh, is that what that 26.2 means?
Yeah.
I always want to honk at that person and give them the thumbs up.
You did it.
I've seen 13.1 stickers.
I have two.
Oh, take that off. Don't put the 26.2 one on there either, but definitely don't ever put the 13.1 sticker on.
I'm going to put a 5K right on the back of my new car. Hey, I did it.
The thing about kids soccer is that you see parents you're never going to see again because it's like the only sport their kids ever going to play. And their kids are probably going to become captains of industry and stuff, but that's when you get a lot of the marathon jackets. Like, our family runs. Team sports, no thank you. Our competition is PRs in low times.
That's right.
My friend. All right, that is it for me for the year 2024. Perhaps the most triumphant of my entire life. What a triumphant year for me. You can all congratulate me on social media at Fred Tudger.
Congratulations, Fred.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your life.
On my huge triumphs throughout the year. Thank you, Hardy. What a wonderful year it's been, our first year together.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic. And thank you, Matt McCarthy. And thank you, Adam 12, for your new role as producer. And
I am
Ryan.
glad to be here.
As your new role. And Nick, who is still around. Thank you all.
But bad news for you, Nick, as we approach the end of the year.
All right, man. I got to let you go.
So
That's right. I got nothing to do. I have an appointment in Waltham at 11. So I'll hang out. What you guys doing?
we're going to go eat cookies, courtesy of Mrs. Louth.
All right. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great year.
Oh, wow.